Okay.
And then I'll start this recording.
Courtney doesn't mess around.
No.
All right. This is a work session, informal, and we are working on the municipal land use plan. We were working on it at our last work session, and we had a starting point for tonight of page 48 or page 21 of that plan, 48 of our packet. But if you just picked up a municipal land plan, you out there in the public, it would be on page 21, Forest Acres Campground. But I have heard from several of the commissioners that they have some items they wanted to go back and discuss. So rather than go on, we'll go back first and then go on. So Craig, you brought it up first. What page or what item was it that you wanted to rediscuss?
It was on definitions.
Way back to definitions in the,
And I'm not sure, it wasn't on a page, it was something that wasn't in here.
May 4th or what one?
May 4th.
May 4th, okay.
And
definitions,
Yeah.
it's in here. It's not part of the municipal land plan, it was our
it was
discussion
when we were
before that.
discussing, definitions, and I
And-
brought up that I wanted alcoholism and drug treatment centers as to be defined. Because it's, in our plan, it says group care home shall not include alcoholism or drug treatment centers, but we don't say what that is.
That's one of mine as well. We
Oh,
need a
is it?
definition
And-
for it.
And when I brought it up, I was told by our director that, well, we can't have everything in the definitions. But I think that's one that needs to be
Okay.
a definition.
You said it's not a page in our packet? Is it in our packet or not? Do
Well,
you
it's-
remember where it is, Nathaniel?
Group
No.
care home might
I
be.
gave up drinking 35 years ago, so I don't care.
We do have a group care home on page 16 of 92.
Okay, 16 of 92.
Cool.
I mean, I just think it's
Yeah.
important to put a definition to behavioral health facilities like that and an area for them to
Yeah.
be, because we have them. And if we don't make something for them, they're just going to be kind of
Okay.
this weird extraneous thing.
It's
So-
43D
Yeah.
43D, okay.
on page 16.
So we have
43D.
B as well, which is convalescent or nursing home.
Well, tell you what, when you, I
Okay,
didn't want to belabor this too much, but I can a little bit.
yeah,
If it basically says shall not include alcoholism or drug treatment centers, I think there are better names for,
work release facilities for convicts or in-convicts or other housing facilities as, so do we mean halfway house? Is that what you,
so that's the thing too. It says about third sentence on D says the term group care home shall not include alcoholism or drug treatment centers. And my thing was, we don't define that. What is it? Goes on to say work release facilities for convicts or ex-convicts or housing facilities serving as an alternative to incarceration.
okay,
So it basically is defining something, but we don't have a name for it and it's not in our definitions. And then when you go down to halfway house, halfway house basically defines itself as custodial confinement,
okay.
wherein supervision, rehabilitation, and counseling are provided to mainstream residents back into society. You know,
So
halfway
there-
house is almost the same as alcohol and drug treatment center.
Right, so why doesn't group care home just say the term group care home shall not include halfway house?
Then halfway house would
You'll have to clean up halfway house.
housing and say that that includes or refers to drug treatment and alcoholism.
Because halfway houses, because when my previous job, I had halfway houses under my supervision, and all of them didn't necessarily have drug treatment in them
Yeah.
themselves. So you'll have to make sure we have that, because if you assume that they always are there, then that's sort of a misnomer.
And then halfway houses get into they've been trying to change their name and not necessarily be halfway houses. 'Cause I looked it up today, and
What are they trying to change?
they're trying to call themselves like residential recovery centers. They're trying, it's about introducing people that have gone off track and are trying to reintroduce them into,
Well, a lot of them are
Mainstream.
still, they're still under custody of Department of Corrections when they go into those
right,
places.
as like an ankle bracelet.
But they can be at home with
Right,
that.
but that's still a form of custody,
Yes, it is.
yeah.
You got a bracelet?
So I
Okay.
just wanted it,
Free.
in the work session, I just wanted this administration to address, and if you think, I would go with that, if they could include, if administration could include alcohol and drug treatment center within the next definition, which would be like halfway house or recovery house or something.
That makes sense.
So keeping the not alcohol and drug in the care home, but adding alcohol and drug to the halfway. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but that would be maybe a simple way, or something, whatever administration could come back with that would,
Yeah, I
Take
guess they
care
could
of
take
that.
a look at it and
Yeah.
figure out what they
Term
want to do.
group care shall not include alcoholism or treatment centers.
I like that because I feel like group care home isn't necessarily like a drug and alcohol treatment center.
right,
But halfway house or whatever they are leaning towards,
Residential recovery.
recovery
Yeah.
seems like a proper place to put something like that.
right. But it wouldn't necessarily be someone that's strictly under Department of Corrections.
You'll have
No.
to rename it something.
Yeah,
like
which
that.
is why,
Yeah.
You rename it
Recovery
three-quarter way house.
They do have three-quarter houses.
There you go. Yes.
They do have those.
there you go, Gary.
Okay, so Courtney, will you, circle D and E? And,
Good definition for.
yeah, come back with the definition for that. And, before we go any farther, I just, I have a lot of question marks in mine, and I'm not sure the commission or Courtney are gonna have those answers. So however we can help you delineate where we're gonna want this to come back with an answer, I wanna make sure, like, there's a lot of dates in here that are off, like when leases ended and have they been renewed, and things like that. So we just wanna make sure you're circling or how you're gonna get all that information back to
Circle
us.
back.
Because you'll bring a draft back to us before, and then we'll discuss it again at a meeting, and then it'll go on to council for final approval, so. Okay, all right, so that was, all you had, Craig?
Yeah,
Okay, Nathaniel, you had that one and something else.
Yes, I had on page 9, under hosted lodging units, it says an owner-occupied single-family residential dwelling where the owner sleeps at the dwelling unit while it is being rented. Isn't that pretty much a home owner-occupied or owner-occupied? Can we just kind of lump that in there
Well-
instead of having like this weird sleeping thing?
We added or operator,
So do we need to keep the,
and owner-occupied single-family residential dwelling where the owner or operator sleeps at the dwelling unit while it's being rented. And then
Okay.
we also changed compensation and/or meals. We changed the and, because you don't have to have meals at a
Okay.
hosted lodging unit.
I guess I just didn't copy it down.
Right,
So
so
I
I
was
get where
reading-
you're saying
yeah.
though, if we're saying it's an owner-occupied single-family resident, and then we're saying an operator can be the one staying there, then it isn't an owner-occupied
Yeah,
single-family.
it needs
So
to-
do we just say a single-family residential dwelling where the owner or operator sleeps at the dwelling while it is being rented? Take out owner-occupied?
I think that's much more clear. I think it's cleaner.
Yeah, as long as we don't get away from owner occupied, because we had that argument about in the residential areas, keeping rentals with owner occupied so that we're not getting people, non-owners renting out, subleasing an area in a residential area.
I know, yeah.
So as long
no.
as we can
Right,
keep
so,
that, yeah.
so Yeah, because this hosted lodging unit, we're gonna, then when we get to the land use allowed table, we're gonna say where these hosted lodging units are gonna be allowed.
Yes.
And so if we're gonna allow a single-family resident where an owner or an operator sleeps there, is that what we want in R1?
No.
No.
Okay.
We want it to be owner occupied.
Right, so then it won't, we aren't gonna allow hosted lodging units. Do we have anything less than that can happen in R1? No. Is there any place where we require owner occupied? I mean, right now, it has to be owner occupied, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In it's
R1.
legal in R1?
Yeah.
So do we need a special R1 definition for this?
Well, when we refer to a hosted lodging unit, that's owner occupied, right? Wouldn't otherwise it just be a lodging unit?
Yeah, I was kind of under the impression that this only fit for the residential areas like
Yeah.
R1 and R2, and areas down where you can just outright run, you know, a nightly lodging area. This, I feel like this only applies to the residential ones, but I could be mistaken.
Okay, so what do we call a hosted lodging unit in R3 or
But
R?
Office residential.
Aren't
Well,
the
yeah, what about in those two, what are they called?
the term where you changed nightly rental to? Didn't
To short-term
short-term,
rental?
is that what it was? Short-term rental?
Short-term rental describes furnished self-contained homes that are rented for short periods of time, usually by the day, as opposed to annual rentals. In the unfurnished apartment housing rental market, they are seen as an alternative to hotels, also called vacation rentals. The use includes bed and breakfast, boarding houses, hosted lodging unit. So do we take that out of there
Let's,
and leave hosted lodging unit just for the R1 and R2?
yes, I like that.
It's claimed that way because then you can
Okay,
distinguish it.
let's take hosted lodging unit out of page 8, the fourth paragraph from the bottom. And then on hosted lodging unit, it's just gonna say owner occupied, not operator?
Yes.
We're gonna take operator off?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because then we have like two distinct areas,
Yeah.
which represent the two distinct areas in the town. But
I like
everybody
that.
still has
Yeah,
can do
sounds
their
good.
stuff.
good,
Good job,
Good
guys.
job.
good job, Nathaniel. Okay. Another part?
Do we have a definition for a sleeping unit? Like, is that under health and safety?
We do, at the bottom
or-
of page 8, sleeping unit, a room or space in which people sleep, which
Okay.
can also include permanent provisions for living, eating, and either sanitation or kitchen facilities, but not both. What? You can't have a kitchen in a bathroom? What?
In a sleeping unit.
A car would suffice. as a
Such
sleeping
rooms and
unit.
spaces that are also part of the dwelling unit are not sleeping units.
I just want to make sure that sleeping unit definition doesn't mean a closet under the stairs. you
Well,
know?
the fire code is gonna,
So
Take care of
that's
it.
what I was
Gonna take
wondering.
care of
So do
that.
we need to say anything, or will it just take care of it automatically?
a room or space in which people sleep. So if, we're
It
gonna
doesn't
have
say
to
that,
redo the lodging application.
Okay.
And it's gonna have to say on there how many sleeping units you have.
Okay.
And when the fire department gets there, they are going to want to inspect all your sleeping units. And it won't be a closet under the
Okay,
stairs.
so this can say basically a place where people sleep, and then when you go to get inspected, the fire comes
Yeah.
through and makes sure that all the sleeping units are appropriate
Right,
sleeping units. with
because
egresses and
this is
whatnot.
where she got these changes
Okay.
from.
That's what I'm,
Primarily the fire. I don't think as many from the building as she did from the fire.
no, but just for fire. I just
Yeah.
wanted, just reading through it, I wanted to
Okay.
make sure
Yeah,
that it
because when
wasn't
you
gonna
read
be.
it straight like that, you could be under the stairs.
Yeah, without a window. And
Yeah.
so I just,
Yeah.
yeah, just
Yeah,
wanted to
it
make
doesn't
sure.
say, yeah,
No
I mean,
headroom.
so in, this is gonna be, I don't know what section, it's just gonna be under definitions, so, but under our code, a sleeping unit has certain requirements.
Okay, so that'll cover that
Yeah.
Do
here.
we,
Yeah.
would we want to say, because I see where Nathaniel's coming from, like after, the comma after sleep, would we want to say something like per
Per our
Fire
fire
applicable
code,
fire code?
per city code, because we
Okay,
adopt the
yeah.
fire code.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
all
That
of
would-
our
yeah.
definition should be per code.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, this will be
So-
All fall
code.
under that,
Okay, so we don't
shouldn't
have to
be
say it
Okay.
for each
stated.
one.
We don't, yeah.
We shouldn't have
That
to.
should be
We,
the
stamp
somewhere
up
in
front.
there, let's just
Perfect.
write down here, where will fire and building code compliance requirements be included in Title 15? Because these are definitions in Title 15, and they're not, that doesn't mean, well, but here you say sleeping unit is this. It doesn't, why do I
Yeah.
have to meet that? You have to meet all the codes.
Right, it should be
Okay.
like right at the top.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay,
Okay, and just one more,
yeah,
well,
I think so, just so we can read it cleanly
Yeah.
and compare it.
I think it would be nice before we vote on it to have time to read through it clean and clear and make sure it's exactly what we want, instead of having to read it before voting and trying to make amendments to it while we're,
No,
you know,
no,
it
yeah.
makes for a long meeting.
Yep,
It's well worth to do the work ahead of time to
Yeah.
make sure it's right and then have to clean it up
Then we
later.
can just,
okay, are we ready to turn to page 48?
yes.
Okay,
No,
no,
No?
Craig, you found something else.
no. Gary said
Oh,
he
Gary had
had one
questions.
thing to say.
Oh, I do, but this isn't the appropriate time to do it.
Okay.
Oh, is it
I
after
was
page
waiting.
48?
No, actually, it's on page 4 of today's message thing.
On page 4 of
Oh, the
this?
next one. Okay.
It's the Diddy seating code.
Oh, it's
And
a
I just
ditty.
wondered what Diddy was.
It's a little song.
Diddy on the market. One of those
what, too.
lines
Just a
here
little
said
typo.
Diddy.
It's
Diddy
under,
zoning code.
it's under 8.
Yeah, it's under 8.
The Diddy
Good
zoning
catch.
code.
That
You
just
know-
proves I read the thing.
Yeah.
that's all.
Yes, it does, it does. Good for you. We're gonna have you do housekeeping from now on.
I'm doing that
Okay.
for my wife now, no.
You're good, thorough editor. Okay, all right, we were at the top of 48, Forest Acres Campgrounds. I think we had a few comments, but we left it on there to finish our comments. So we had, continue as campground and bike park, sell remaining portions with the sound development plan.
Which one was that, the?
Is that Forest Acres Campground at the top of 48, which had continue use as a public park, sell the sound development plan, but it is no longer just a public park. It is a campground and a bike park. We've sold a portion of it to the senior housing.
Yes.
So
Well,
this
a
is,
little section of it.
this is institutional property though, right?
No,
Isn't it zoned
this was under parks and campgrounds, on top of page 48, under parks and campgrounds.
No, it's, are we talking about the Fort Raymond?
We're talking about Forest Acres Campground, page 48 of
Yeah,
92.
Map,
It's zoned institutional.
Starts on 47.
Starts
It's
on,
zoned institution, but it's under the public facilities, lands, parks and campgrounds. It's been zoned institutional, and I don't know why, but that's what it was.
so the
It's-
thing is, yeah, it's zoned institutional and we don't,
Playground. Oh,
one of the things that recently came up is that we don't have any real inventory of institutional land, and that's what I wonder if we should try and preserve that. Because I know the hospital's 25, 28 years old, so in the
it's a
next
sad place.
decade, they're gonna be wanting another hospital somewhere. Without any institutional land, what are they looking at? And, you know, what if there was the concept to go for a medical campus at some point? I mean, at the health center, we're looking at building a new clinic with the old Wesleyan property. But another line of thought was building in a more central location to where the community is growing would be more out towards the airport, because we're growing north, we're not growing
Yeah,
south.
we're not, the people that
So-
live in town are, there's less residents, year-round residents than seasonal
Yeah,
residents
yeah.
anymore.
So I would say that's an ideal piece of property for some public service, central community location.
The Forest Acres Campground, where it is currently a campground and a bike park?
And but 22, 23 acres.
So it is,
It's a large.
it is on, yeah, it
Map.
says it's 11.57 acres.
Oh, what am I looking at?
Still a lot of ground.
And it's on map 3.
There's also the institutional across the street from it. That weird triangle
Right.
spot.
Oh, I see, yeah, okay.
On map 3, page 3.
So I would just say with this, maybe, not just sell with the sound development plan, but maybe have some way try and have some level of protection for institutional growth?
Well, it is still institutional. Campgrounds are allowed in an institutional area, so it's okay right now, but if we wanted to look, if somebody came to town or a developer, an institution in town wanted to develop, and they wanted to find property that they could develop, it is already institutional. It is already that. So you could go and say, I want to develop or expand my institution. This is institutional, I don't have to rezone it. And that's a sound development plan. That's already a sound development
Yeah.
plan, and it's already zoned institutional. It's not a campground and zoned campground, it's zoned institutional.
But if somebody wanted to put houses there,
They're not going to.
If you look at the land use allowed table, which you have to go back and forth to,
Have to cut a lot of trees down.
yeah,
Right,
I'm not
you would have
sure
to-
you could do, now let's see where all our little
so
housing
you would,
things
if
are.
you wanted to do something different, you would have to change.
You would
the
have to
zoning.
change the
Change
zoning.
And that's when it would come up and
Right,
somebody would be able to
right.
say, okay,
Somebody, yeah.
that's, you know,
So that's the kind of thing that, as I was reading through this today, I go, why are we telling everybody they have to have a sound development plan? If we say we want to sell the property, if they don't have a sound development plan and it fails, I mean,
It's just
why
nice
is
wording.
that?
It's nice
Wh-
wording to just.
Why is that on us? You know, I mean,
I like the sound development because it's just a nice wording saying that
we care.
we care about what goes in and we don't
Yeah.
just want to sell something just for it to
Okay.
sit there again, you know?
Right,
we
right.
want things to be built and developed and help
If somebody wanted to put in a car lot and we knew nobody was gonna come
Yeah.
down here and buy a bunch of brand new
people. Or if
cars.
somebody just wanted to buy it and sit on it.
Until the price went up, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, it's going up soon.
yeah, and
Alright.
that I had a question on. So, we are back on page 48, okay? So,
Okay.
we have
thank you for that.
continue as a campground and a bike park,
Sorry.
sell remaining portion with sound development plan. So, remaining portion, I don't know what that is. Or sell with a do we not want to put remaining portion? Because the only thing that
You can't
I think
sell
we'd have some issues with would be the people who raised all the money and built the bike park. But the campground, do we want to say sell campground with sound development plan?
We can just say sell with sound development
Okay,
plan and we
yeah,
can
let's
work
just
out
say
the- work out
remaining
the bits
portion,
later.
take that off.
I
Okay,
mean, by the time it sells, maybe there isn't a bike park there.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe,
who knows?
maybe all our families with kids moved out of
Yeah,
town.
they
Yeah.
all moved out and the kids won't ride a bicycle anymore.
Okay, all right. We are now moving on to Gateway Playground, which is
map 360.
the neighborhood pocket park playground up in, is that the one on Dora Way?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, my.
So we had recommended in 2014 to retain the land ownership and continue current use.
Amen.
I think that's a good idea.
Yep,
There's lots
I
of kids
agree.
up there and I'm sure
Yep.
they like that park.
Yeah, and we're only gonna add more parks up there,
Yes.
so.
That's a
Okay.
good idea.
Mount Marathon Trailhead Jeep Trail, and our recommendation then was to retain the land ownership and maintain as the water system and Marathon Trail access. Clear and develop a small trailhead parking to serve the trail, and I'm sure that the residents in that area would love that to happen.
Yep.
So I looked at the size of the lot, and it's, right now, it's just a big trees and bushes and one bench.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a gate.
And a gate, and that gate could be moved farther up, and they could make a little more parking out of it, and, yeah.
More could be done with it.
More could be done
Definitely.
with it to make it safer, because, yeah,
Be nice to even have a little gazebo there so you can stand out of the rain while you get your stuff ready.
Is that where they start the marathon race and go up those rocks?
No,
No.
this is where
It's a
they
Jeep
drive
trail.
up the Jeep
It's on,
trail.
it's off
Oh,
of Monroe.
That
Jeep.
little one right
The Jeep
there
trail on
between the
Monroe.
houses.
Yeah, on Monroe. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Okay, all right, so, can we say, I don't know how we make things happen when we put them on here, but I would like to say, soon, clear and develop a small trailhead parking to serve the trail. Maybe we put that first?
Yeah?
Is that just there in front of the gate? Cause,
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's pretty
does
tiny.
that gate have to be not blocked to provide emergency access?
that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that eliminates a lot of space.
Well, they could park like this. I mean, there's at least room for 6 cars to get off of the road.
The gate could be moved up a little bit
Yeah,
if we wanted to.
Right.
Not a lot, but it
carve
could go
out,
up a
but
little
yeah.
bit.
yeah.
Because you wouldn't want people starting to drive up the hill, but it's pretty. There's a good little amount of space
Yeah.
before it actually starts going up.
Let's just move that second sentence to the front
Okay.
and then say retain land ownership and maintain water system remote.
I like that because that's kind of a
Makes
forgotten
it a little,
spot there.
yeah.
It'd be
Okay,
Nice to have something better.
Hoban Park. That's,
118.
I saw you out there cleaning that up and making it pretty, Gary, you and Cheryl. Retain land ownership and continue historic park preservation. I think I'm in agreement with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Spent a lot of money good putting that in.
What year was
Been there
that?
a long time. 2000, no, 1905 maybe?
Okay, good. All right.
Okay, Kawabi Park, which is right over there. Retain ownership and continue existing use, replat as a single parcel. Now, will you circle that, Courtney? Because those are the kind of things that come out of the community development department to get, when we do some replats, we should do like 3 at one time. Because there's several of these, and I'm not sure if that's been done.
Or,
So,
Oh yeah, yeah. That thing.
replat as a single parcel.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's still 2.
I don't know. That's my,
They're
what,
public
yeah.
The map shows it here. As
Yeah,
2.
but are these, when were these maps printed?
I don't know.
20,
1906.
these are 2015 maps, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't remember seeing that replat
Yeah.
since 2014, that's 7 years ago, I don't remember. My filing cabinet's full. Okay, Benny Benson Lagoon Park, that, we have done some stuff down there. When we did the Two Lakes Park, didn't we do something with the Benny Benson area? Didn't we replat that? Because that's the same thing, it's got all kinds of little lots.
Yeah. we
And
did
so it
some-
says retain land ownership, replat area as park and dedicate Dairy Hill Lane as a public right-of-way, dedicate as a conservation overlay district to remain undeveloped for flood relief. So again, did we replat?
A lot of things that mention about the conservation overlay district, who does that, or how is that prepared? I'm not quite sure how that critter happens.
Well, I know that the Seward Bear Creek Flood Service Area Board buys property and designates it as conservation. Like the property
Protected.
there on the north side of Nash Road. On the south side of Nash Road, or north side of Nash Road, they turned into conservation, the part that floods all the time. Right before you hit Eadsville, before the cars.
Oh, yes, okay.
On this port on the map here, what's this little nubbin next to the house?
Next to which house?
Oh, I can't tell, but you know, I know there's a house here.
Which map are you on, two?
I'm on 2, map 2, 86, number 15, the one we're talking about.
Map 286.
Because it looks like a lot of this is water, and then there's, when you see,
Oh, those are up on the cliff.
no, because I see Chamberlain, it's right on Chamberlain, between Mill Street and Ravina. I'm just wondering,
Oh,
what's
that
that
is
little,
the
No.
one with the little triangle shooting south off of it?
no, this one right here.
What?
Is that where that Boy Scout park is with the stairs?
No, that's further down,
Oh, okay.
south.
Yeah. let me think.
That ring.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that, that just punches right through
Yeah,
there.
and it's right, I know there's a house right next to it. And I was wondering if there was a reason that's,
Well, there's where Mill Street comes down.
yeah,
And do we lease that land to Hope Cottages? Is that where the Hope Cottage
I
is?
bet you it is, that's right on that way, that, the curve there.
Uh-huh.
I bet
Okay.
you you're right.
so
Yeah.
there is something built
I
there.
bet you
Okay.
that's, yeah. Or there's a bit of land between Barterson's and Hope Cottages, but it's
Super narrow.
straight down.
It's really.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
so
just-
it's-
What's an interesting little spot there.
yeah,
oh, you mean the group home, when you say Hope Cottages?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, the
Okay.
group home. I think that's who runs that one. Is Hope House or Hope Cottages or
Used to
No,
be.
Seaview runs.
Seaview runs it
Yeah.
now? Do they own the land they run on? I don't know. All right, well,
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is on here, but Wagner, I don't know. Anyway, so we need to find out if that's been replatted. And I think it was because I think it got designated as a park. But there was more in that, the Benny Benson and Lagoon Park, if it's map, if it's all 15, that's a lot of 15. Yeah, that's a lot of 15. But, yep, so that's all I got on that one. Anybody, besides, what are these things?
Okay.
Page 15. Because if we didn't replat, maybe there's some of the stuff we need to move on. And then we have the little pocket park, which in the access easement up there, it's on the north side of Hume Lane, and I don't think there's a pocket park there.
There's nothing there, just trees,
No,
right?
it's just sitting between the roadway. On the south side of the road, there's the trail system in Two Lakes Park,
Yeah,
but, on the north side, where this is, there's
provides access easement.
number 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It says it provides access or, access easement to lot 1B and lot 9A.
which I think is, yeah, I don't know.
So it's not something we could sell? It seems like it's
But
just,
it isn't a pocket park, so it's incorrectly listed. I'm gonna circle pocket park and go question mark, because I don't understand why it's called a pocket park.
and it looks like it's zoned UR.
It's rezoned the park. Huh.
Yep, you are urban resident.
And I don't know why we'd rezone to park if that's not what it is. So I'm circling that, put a question mark there too. Because are we gonna put a park there?
That
Or
might
is
be
it?
that's what it looks like to me, that someone wanted it to be a park.
But no, I mean, who on the cliff has a kid that would be playing in a park? I mean,
And the Two Lakes, the First Lake Trail System is
the
right
parks are right
Yeah.
there.
I don't know. On my printout here, it's UR for a zone. It's not.
And that's
zone
what it
park.
is, yeah,
Yeah,
it says
yeah.
you are here,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's
So-
never rezoned to
They've
park?
never rezoned a park.
No, and maybe that was just somebody, when they did the Snowden replat, they sold it because there'd be a cute little pocket park there. And then there isn't, so let's be real,
If it's an access and easement to something else too, I don't know if I'd want it to be a park either.
no. Okay, I'm ready to move on to Lowell Canyon Picnic Area.
Okay.
Retain land ownership and continue use as a day-use park and a Mount Marathon trailhead. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, we don't let, another reason why we should move the hospital, we don't let people build in a floodway.
We should.
Well, just like the green belt, we don't let people build, but we put sick people in the flood. Okay, Spring Creek Campground at SMIC.
let's see.
It is zoned industrial, again, it's another campground, and it says retain as a primitive camp area, maintain the public access to the beach. Now, did some of that change? I mean, there was a whole lot of earth moved out there when they did the north levee, but it's still, that's what it is, and it's even more primitive. Maybe it's a little leveler now, but
Yeah, they
you
lost.
can get to the beach.
They filled in part of that beach with armoring rock,
Big one,
but
Yeah.
there's still that flat space there
Yeah.
for
Yep.
parking, and that like little upland area of it. I see people RVing on.
And there's still, the creek flows into the bay and you
Yep,
can
and there's
fish in the
beach
bay.
past
Yeah.
the creek.
Yeah. So I think it's still what it states it as.
Yeah. Don't think it's changed.
No.
I mean,
And I don't
not
have any other
significantly enough.
ideas for it. I mean, maybe someday.
Well, if I had an idea, I can't walk on those rocks anymore. So I think they should fill them up with gravel so I can walk on them.
You wanna put some of that, flood water,
Well, yeah.
that,
Put that flood stuff on.
that rock that comes out of the fall, yeah, old canyon outpour. Cover those up. They'll still be there. They'll still.
Yeah, they'll still
and then
be there.
Sand will just go away over time. All right. Third Avenue Playground. This had a lot of discussion over the time
Like that.
because it is in the downtown area.
Yep.
Clear up lot 7 title through the title search, enter quiet title. Circle that. Don't know if that ever happened. Replat to vacate internal lot lines and continue use as a tot lot. Sell with a sound development plan.
Well,
I think this, when they built the new playground across from Gary's, that people were saying, did we really still need that tot lot or should it be sold?
It should not be sold. It should stay city. I love them doing my yard work.
You know,
what?
put a-
No, the tot lot over
No.
here,
The one over here.
the one
Yeah,
over
by
here.
the
One on Third
highlighter.
the
Avenue?
one
Yeah.
behind
That's not
highlighter.
across from my house.
No,
No,
when they did that new playground,
Yeah.
they were talking, do they still need that one over there?
Oh, okay.
Was
good.
there a reason to retain that property for a tot lot?
So, one thing that's, because of my kids, they're trying to shoot 20,000 baskets over the summer, or 20,000 shots up for, it's something you get for basketball. They're having a heck of a time finding a court in our town to shoot baskets. And there just isn't. So this would actually not be a terrible place to put an outdoor basketball court.
Well,
There's
I
one
agree.
behind the senior center, there's a basketball court, they're not a full
They've been
court.
using that one, it's not a full court.
Yeah.
And it's got terrible ankle busting curb gravel fence. It
It's not a
doesn't
good-
stop you, it's not a
They're
good
constantly
play.
chasing the balls down the street.
What about the indoor basketball court in whatever that building is where they teach people stuff?
Avtech,
Avtech.
you can't get in
No.
there anymore.
And
Oh,
the
it's
school gym you can't get
closed
into.
out.
You can't get
and,
into the school gyms.
well, I like parks, but that's not a very nice park. So if we keep it, we need to do something better with it. Because it's just kind of like this forgotten weird zone
Yeah.
behind restaurants and on a road.
I also
It gets
see younger
used quite
kids.
a bit though.
Yeah,
It
there's
does,
Yeah,
which I
see
mean,
people there, played there.
so we should do
Yeah.
something better to it because people do use it, but it's
Yeah.
not very pleasing. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like this weird zone.
Purple dinosaur.
I think also too, the new one that's down there by the beach is, the older kids seem to play with that because it's more of a, skateboarder kind of thing, older kids. And then I've noticed when I do a lot of walking through town, that younger kids with their mom or, guardian are out there playing in the one, because it has, actually has
Yeah.
old school kind of, equipment out there. So it might be to go with what you're saying, is to upgrade it
Yeah.
for that,
I'd like to see it upgraded to look nicer and be more useful to people.
I have another idea on the basketball
Okay,
court.
that's
so,
fine.
Yeah, so let's say, clear up lot 37 title, why don't we just clear up the whole thing, but continue use as a tot lot. Do we want to sell it? Do we want to take that off and say continue use as a tot lot, upgrade?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would-
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, because people do use it a
Okay.
lot, but
Yeah.
it's just
So
not
we'd-
very nice. So it'd be
right.
nice to have a nice facility there that people use.
Upgrade. Okay, if there's a department in our city that makes money, it is our Parks and Rec department.
Yeah,
So
they should
they should be able to spend some money.
get that thing rolling.
Okay,
Something similar to what's down there, but
right,
smaller.
right,
You know,
but nice.
and that's what I
Yeah.
mean, like that,
Yeah.
like a nice castle or something.
Well, kids love swings. You gotta keep the swings.
Okay, swings.
Swings. You gotta have more swings. Always, the swings are always full. Okay, it could be the swinging park.
Swinging park.
Squeak,
Yeah, they squeak.
squeak.
All right, all right.
2 o'clock in the morning, some
Two
parent,
Lakes
uh,
Park.
Don't get
kids
Gary
down there.
started.
All right, Two Lakes Park, retain land ownership and park status. I think
Yeah.
that we did this just after that. In 2010, the area was replatted, so. Okay, yeah, we are on page
52.
52, and
That was a
Yeah,
good
boy.
deal,
1952?
1952.
the waterfront park. So it has one recommendation for the whole park. Allow public replat and sale of area known as Boulder Field with the sound business plan for development. Now, one of the things that people have, see, this is just they are pulling Boulder Field out of all the waterfront area. They say replat it so that Boulder Field is separate, and they want to have something done with it. There was a lot of discussion about it being a dog park back in 2014 when this was done. But again, I think this could be a place for some public recreation area, a basketball court, or which many times it has been flooded and used as an ice skating rink.
Which a
If-
basketball court you could.
We could do that and just roof it. We don't need walls, maybe fence to keep the balls in, but the ice rink just needs to keep the rain off in the winter. It doesn't necessarily it just could be a big pole barn-like building.
Yeah, timber
And
frame.
if, I don't think that would be the big expense of getting a new huge community rec center with, a bowling alley and a swimming pool but
It's a step
this,
in that direction.
this might be an easier sell.
A step in the right direction is anything other than the gravel lot that it is.
Right,
Yeah.
right, that just gets used
Eyesore.
for overflow and
Yeah.
who wants to camp there?
Exactly.
I mean, I bet you if we get bad reviews, it's from anybody that stayed at Boulder Field.
Yeah.
It's windy, it's cold, yeah.
Yeah.
All of Belane Boulevard is that, so let's
Yeah, really.
just keep it together.
And they still keep coming, Gary, they still keep coming. So, replat and separate Boulder Field, to separate Boulder Field. And develop a public, do we want to say rec center, or do we want to say basketball court, skating rink? Covered basketball court and skating
I
rink.
don't think we want to say rec center because that
That's
implies a
too
big
expensive.
building.
That's a big,
and
a
that's-
lot of money.
If we want to do that, that's not the spot we want to do that
No,
in.
so let's go public covered,
Like outdoor recreational use.
public covered, but recreational use could be picnicking.
Yeah, or overflow
It
parking.
could be
Court.
that, but it's not that.
Public covered courts,
Yeah,
Covered
skating rink,
we could say covered
Basketball court.
skating rink / basketball court.
Yeah,
We can
I
just
think
say
that's
it.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Because we have had people asking for both of those for a long time.
Just a covered concrete area with
Yeah.
hoops on one side and you can play or skate
Yep.
or do whatever you want.
Yeah,
and we do have 2 seasons in Seward.
right. Basketball and skating.
I'm
Okay.
curious how much money they make off of that part though, because they're not gonna wanna give that up easily if it's.
Well, there's nobody
Good
being
chunk
But
there
versus
down
our
there.
If they want people to move to this town, they need to have these kinds of facilities for families, because you know, you drive through Canada, and we always stopped in towns through Canada to go to their recreational center. They were public, you could jacuzzi, sauna, swim, they had beautiful parks,
Laird Hot Springs.
but,
Now you're not
yeah,
allowed to go.
well, there's
No,
no people live there, but I just think we need to do more for families in this town,
Yeah.
for families. And where you, right now, if you wanted to go play a game of basketball, like go shoot hoops, pick up a game, where can you do that in this town?
Having a heck of a time.
Nowhere. I mean, in Hawaii, little tiny islands, they have, you know, basketball courts in Zihuatanejo, Mexico. They just upgraded their public open basketball court, and people are there all the time playing ball. NBA, it's a big
I've
sport.
actually been there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Out of the rain,
yeah, yeah,
covered.
covered. All
Nice
that,
timber
they just
frame
covered.
covering, so it
Yeah,
looks
Yeah.
nice.
yeah.
Wood beams.
And it looks like, I mean, they're trying to build one with, you know, funding, private funding out,
Du Bois, are we doing the Forest Acre ones?
Yeah.
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 It'll still be public, but we can have more than one.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, that'd be, you know.
Yeah,
It's downtown.
this
So-
is downtown,
Oh,
yeah.
People can just wander.
Well, I
all
think we
over.
need more than one.
Yes,
Yeah.
So-
and it, you know, people love to just sit and watch people play basketball or skate. You go to Diamond Center, all those people hanging around the top of the rink watching people skate.
Flood in the winter when it's cold.
Yeah, okay. All right, and then all the rest of it is the waterfront park, which, we just, the recommendation was to replat out Boulder Field and sell it with a sound development plan. But I think the city can use some of that Parks and Rec, some of those funds to
Yeah.
develop something for our community.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And if you have other ideas, please come on down. Okay, waterfront park, there's retain ownership and continue existing use, develop a conservation overlay district. So that's the whole thing that we just asked to have the Boulder Field replatted out of. Okay. Okay.
Well,
There's nothing else I think we want to do in that area? Anything? Okay. I
No.
think they take pretty good care
Yeah.
of the people with,
it's nice down there.
yep. Okay, Whale's Tail Park is way on the other end, right on Port Avenue. Continue to maintain as a pocket park and rest area.
That's the one with the, right on the
Oh.
corner with the bike, the
That's
octopus
just
bike lock.
concrete.
Right.
Okay.
I've never
Okay.
seen anyone there or any bike locked up there.
Me neither. But I don't know what else you would do with it, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's already built.
yeah.
It's there.
It's there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we could have music in the park and people, we could have minstrels
Minstrels.
in that area.
That would be nice.
Okay, now we're to the electric system infrastructure
Yeah,
on the
what
bottom
do
of
we do about
53.
that?
The city generators, water well, and citizens ball field. So this is to retain land ownership and continue existing and proposed uses. Now, what did they say the proposed uses are? The dog lot, or the animal control shelter went up there, right?
Yes.
And I thought Public Works said there aren't as many water wells. No, that's on the Fort Raymond. So
Yeah.
water wells 4 and 5 must still be there. The new electric warehouse and the paved pedestrian path. So continue existing and proposed uses. I don't see
Is
where
that
they say what
proposed
the
use, the
proposed
new
uses.
dog pen, the new shelter?
It could be.
Shelter.
But at that, in
quite-
2014, the shelter was gonna go in out on the way to the landfill. So, I don't know what their other proposed uses are.
Guess nobody knows, probably not out.
Map 3, number 8.
Yeah, just, you can see the public, the, generator house in front of a ball field and some woods is pretty much all
Yeah.
it shows.
Yeah, so, okay, there's, the only thing was we were gonna put the the animal shelter right there and the southeast corner,
Yeah,
right?
the corner next to Sea Lion, wasn't it?
Next to Sea Lion?
Sea Lion
Oh,
Avenue.
up there, yes,
Yeah, it
up
was
in
that corner right there.
the northwest corner, yeah, yeah. The other
And then
say
where's
something.
where's Chugachmute clinic going,
It's,
isn't that?
it's
Seven.
seven,
on
the
seven.
south
Oh, okay.
portion of seven.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so,
So
that's the
we
first one on electric system infrastructure.
Do we need to say something in there about animal shelter? Or do we?
We
not?
should, in the description.
Yeah.
This description should include
Okay.
animal shelter. Okay. All right, gotta go to page 54. Storage yard.
That's what I need.
7.
And that's out on the road, on the highway, right?
Yeah,
It's about that.
Well, it's ugly.
it's the one that has the like, not transformers and the piles of
Oh.
poles out there
It's
and
got the
everything.
There
Poles.
was the turnoff, is the
Yeah, kind of.
Mash Road.
No.
No,
past
on the
it's
other side.
between the feed store and Matt Hall's. You know
Oh,
where that is?
yeah,
There's a
well,
pole,
that's-
we call it the pole yard.
And a couple hundred yards before that is the turnoff to
Yeah.
Nash Road.
Right, you're exactly right.
So that's all garbage along that road.
Can we put something in there about?
Fence and clean up.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they have cleaned up that one area. What's being built around that lake?
Potters.
Everything you
Oh.
can think of.
Preacher's Pond.
Preacher's Pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hotel, isn't it?
It's behind, it's the hotel, and around it is campground.
Yeah.
Are
And
they
it's-
building a hotel back there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elliot
Eventually.
Jackson is.
It's been
Oh,
a slab for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything with a foundation from the highway.
Yeah,
There's
there
a
is.
lot more
There's
there.
There's
a
that.
lot more.
So they're
You
not-
should, you can drive back there, Gary.
Okay.
Yeah, check
Take
it
a
out.
look.
Oh, sorry, Elliot. He can drive back there. Okay, so, yeah, I just, you know,
Well,
it's the entrance to our town.
Yeah,
And
that's what I wanted
it's,
to say.
And
it's,
it's ugly.
yeah, if we clean, if we want other people to clean their properties up, the city better clean their properties up.
Amen.
And so, I don't know why it can't have a fence along the roadway. I know that poles are poles, how do you clean that up? They're just laying
stack 'em
there.
nice.
Or when they redo the shop and move it wherever it moves, move this to where that shop is.
That's what I was wondering is how utilized is this area and do they actually need it when they're getting new infrastructure near in town? Like, is this something that we could add into the lot of, 7 or 8, that area that they're kind of hoping to move out to, and then smooth it off and get rid of it?
Yeah, yeah, let's
That's some
say,
proper, I mean, that's some good future development.
yeah, yeah. It
feel
is
like
some of the
people
high
would-
ground out there.
People would want to use it, and I don't know we need to just store things on, as long as the city Public Works has room to store stuff. I mean, I don't want to just like say they don't need it.
It
but-
says it was originally purchased and designed for the transmission line easement and substation, but I don't believe that's what is there or what it's being used as. So I guess we need to have Public Works come in
Yeah.
and talk to us about this, because I would like to say, move to new,
Consolidate.
yeah, consolidate with other Public Works.
Yeah, there are
Consolidate.
private residences along there.
Right, but this is
57
only this
Hall
one piece,
and,
yeah.
But the people that have that bus,
City Express?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
City Express.
Yeah.
Consolidate with other city shop,
but they gotta clean up their mess.
right, so we gotta clean up ours. Consolidate with other city shop and sell.
I clean
Yeah.
up my mess. On my hands and knees.
I know, I see. Is that okay with everybody, what I just said?
Yep.
Consolidate with
consolidate,
other
sell.
city shop and sell?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. and then the SMIC electric substation, retain land ownership for continued use as an electric substation.
That's,
I'm
that's
sure
probably
that's
a good
gotta
idea.
happen. And
Yeah, I would
the
hope so.
transmission line, retain land ownership and restrict public access for safety use. And those are the two pieces of property out by Grouse Lake,
Yeah.
out
Oh,
past Old
okay.
Mill.
So are those just, we have those just because the transmission lines are on them?
Well,
Or-
one of them has, it changes direction.
Okay,
And
so
so
they
it
have a-
takes a big
Yeah.
structural
Uh-huh.
support system.
Yeah, to make a bend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're on 55, leased land inventory. So this is not SMIC and not the small boat harbor. So it's Resurrection Bay Seafoods. And in a lot of these, leased lands, the lease expiration date needs to be updated. This one, the lease is expiring in 9/20/21 and that it has no extension options. I don't know, retain ownership and continue lease and easement. So, I guess I'm okay with that recommendation, but I just want to make sure that somebody, somewhere, I guess it'd be the finance department working on,
The extension.
leases and they have no
Assuming-
extension options, but I can't imagine fishing industry is, I mean, they're still selling a
still
lot of
fishing.
fish, yeah, so,
They're
The
still doing
following-
work down there, so.
yeah. The following parcels are within what has been called the waterfront tracts, made up of land from two sources, old Alaska Railroad properties and tide land. So these are mainly out by the small boat harbor or along the waterfront. Anyway, Alutiiq Pride, and I don't know if that's still their name? Is it that name still?
Yes.
It is?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, shellfish.
Yeah.
All right. And so retain title ownership and continue the lease agreement as needed, and theirs is out of ways. Their lease doesn't expire until 69.
Oof,
That's a long lease.
I wanna be old.
2069, I'll be dead.
Yeah.
I thought you were living forever.
Well, if you look at the opening statement, it says the following city-owned lands are currently under lease or obligation to private and public parties. Lease terms vary from 1 to 99 years, with 20 to 30 being the most common. They generally have some development requirements. Rent varies from free to fair market value. Most lease rents are adjusted by appraisal every 5 years. The number in parentheses is the lease number and is the city's administratively assigned lease number. So, that kind of gives us a little more information on that. We're on 56. We're over halfway done, and it's 7 o'clock. We're over halfway through the work session. Okay, so
think so.
there's a little more. The Tideland easement is part of the shellfish hatchery, and the lease expires a little sooner, but I'd say continue the same
Yep.
as needed. And the University of Alaska Seward Marine Center, retain ownership and continue lease. And it was interesting that it's a no-cost lease.
Ah,
Well, that's
So
a beautiful piece of
I would
property,
like
that's
to
the one
see
you're
that
thinking
the
about.
University of Alaska, they do allow our Friday night movies in
yeah.
there, but a little more public use with the property maybe, and I mean, they're getting that whole beautiful space. Well, our community gardens are there now, but,
The
and the,
20s, this is 20 down over here. The community garden's up here.
we're on, what map, one, okay, map,
120. I'm just,
yeah,
just saying that that land they're getting for free doesn't have the community garden on it. That's a different section of land.
20,
Oh, that's
okay, yeah,
21.
that's
Yeah, it's
21.
the water by it's the dock.
Right, right,
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
so 20,
Because they have
yeah,
that storage area, it's the troopers, right next to Sea Life Center?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it butts up against the Sea Life Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
What all's on that? It's,
20.
Well, they've got the
They're labs,
yeah,
yeah,
they
they've
have a
got
bunch
their
of labs and
labs.
Oh,
buildings on there. So
Yeah.
they store boats
okay,
and
yeah.
there's stuff for the schooliac there.
Yep.
And it looks
Yeah.
like they own some of, or not own, but lease some of the tide to the south.
But
Tide flat.
how
whatever
can
you
they
wanna call it.
sublease? What do you mean?
How do they sublease?
I mean, if,
Does-
what are you looking at that they lease to the south?
No, I just said this in their lease is some of that.
Oh,
some of
okay,
the-
Title
The
flat,
title flats,
okay,
yeah. Because they said they own it, but
Um,
they don't own it, they just lease it
alright.
from us.
okay, 20, yeah, okay. So they also, I thought, they used to have their offices there, but now their offices are up in the.
Orca building.
Orca building.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be moving back down there to the Hood Lab.
Oh,
which is that
okay.
silver building.
Maybe they were
They're a
upgrading.
work in progress.
Okay.
The Orca building's for sale.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, no cause. Anyway, Alaska Sea Life Center, retain land ownership and continue lease.
And,
Probably a good idea.
2045.
you don't wanna mess with them.
I was packed today. This was packed. Fiber optic cable,
So, what is this?
Monroe
No map.
Street.
Where's
It's
this
in a
at?
park. It doesn't say a map number.
Monroe Street.
Within the
Oh, it
water-
was placed across tidelands within waterfront park and into the city right away.
Oh,
Expires 8,
Oh.
and it has 2/5, no original signed documents were found. There's a working file in the community development, retain land ownership and continue contract. Yeah, there was a big ship
I remember
laying
that
cable.
years ago, they
Yeah.
had cable right there. Yeah, okay.
There's a contract,
Right next to the building.
but it's
No.
not signed.
That lease expiring in 2031, I should be able to make that.
Good, you be there and check out those 2
I'll be
5-year
90 that year.
extensions. And then the next one is a GCI fiber optic cable, which is still on nothing on the map. Good until 2028. No original signed documents were found. Working file in the community development. Retain land ownership and continue contract.
Monroe Street.
Yeah,
It's gotta be right in there,
So
wasn't
does
it?
it come up Monroe Street and then branch off into the alleys? Is that?
I don't know. I thought Alaska was the one that was doing all the branching off into the alleys.
They have been up and down Monroe.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Huh. Well, that'd be interesting to hear what those are, where those are,
Yes.
because those are just a little too out there. And then the chamber building,
Lease expires this November. An extension.
yeah, with one 5-year extension. So, I don't know if this is within our topic, but I was wondering, we give the chamber bed tax, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we also don't charge them for this building. Lease at no cost as an office. So I wonder, when that is all being discussed, is this value included into what they're getting? Because that's probably a pretty fair market value on that piece of property.
Yes. Quite.
Yeah, and
I look at it as an investment.
well, it is an investment, but a lot of times they're really just, I see a lot of support of only chamber members instead of the city as a whole. A lot of support of city as the whole, but also a lot of PR for
Chamber.
just their chamber members, where if they're getting bed tax and fair market or paying nothing on,
But we're also
commercial
getting
property.
membership fees, because we all pay membership. the
right,
people
so,
there.
yeah,
More
so.
promote for the town.
Yeah, I think they need to do more overall report. And if I'm getting a little off base, maybe we'll have some people here next time we discuss this.
Or in your front yard.
In my front yard. Great. Okay, all right. The Seward Army Resort, and that again is a huge, long lease. And it says in there that we get $10,000. It was negotiated in 1985 for $10,000, which is less than fair market value. Is that 10,000 overall or 10,000 per year? That was my question.
Does that include the old rec camp? Because the one that,
No, this is just
Just
the
the
Army.
Army.
This is
Yeah.
just the Army. Which I think that could be in there since they're giving us a value. Is that, I'd like the answer. Is it 10,000 overall? For the length of which the lease expired. This is another one. We need to know if the lease got extended. or we have the land back. 'Cause
Oh,
it-
well, it
yeah.
expired 5 years ago.
Yeah. I'm sure our finance department was on it, but I just wanted, it is a benefit to the community
A lot
and
of
to
money comes
our,
in with the military.
yeah,
Yes.
to our military. And I don't want to discontinue it, I just have those questions. Now, the leased land in the Small Boat Harbor. The following parcels are located in Small Boat Harbor area. Land was acquired through tideland patent from the state and railroad right-of-way from the federal government. Most of the areas fill from dredge spoils during the construction of the Small Boat Harbor.
Spoils.
So, Kenai Fjords National Park Visitor Center, they were talking about that the lease was gonna, it doesn't have extension options, blah, blah, because they were gonna move their site downtown. Well, they moved into an office building downtown, but they kept that and they upgraded it, so,
Yeah.
retain land ownership and continue lease, I think is the right, but there's a lot of updating to the description.
Yeah.
But
should
that
go on.
lease expired June 30th of 15.
Yeah, so that needs to be updated. The whole description part needs to be updated there. Anybody have problems with continuing the lease?
Nope.
No,
Good to go.
it should be continued.
Yeah. And then Saltwater Safari Company,
That's interesting. They're supposed to have boardwalks on both sides?
yeah,
Pardon me?
a portion of the public boardwalk on the water side of the building was a condition of the lease. So as a member of the public, we should be able to go to their office and go around on the water side.
Can you?
No.
Well, we could go try. Gary, you're on it, right?
I'm on one.
You're gonna go see if this
I'll
is
go
a
wander on
public
there tomorrow.
boardwalk.
I
That
don't
was
think it is.
condition
I
of
think
the
it's
lease.
gated off.
I think it's gated, yeah.
That's what I'm picturing.
And I gotta walk with my
Okay,
cane.
and the
I don't
lease
need
doesn't expire till 2034, so that is still a condition of the current lease. It says boardwalks on both sides now closed to the public, but the condition of the lease that they would be open to the public.
They should be open to the public, because that's a nice walking spot. The public likes to walk the waterfront.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
it's
you can
not-
watch people who
Yeah.
are having boats go out the boat ramp.
Yep,
They can see when the boat's headed to the dock, and then they can go over and get on.
yeah.
Do we
Yeah.
have restaurants though that there's, isn't in front of Ray's? Is there not a boardwalk in front of Ray's?
No,
It
there's
doesn't
not.
continue.
There's one on Chanel.
Sure.
Should
Yeah.
there's not a
We'll
Ray's.
see what the
There's a gap.
lease says, it's coming up.
We'll see.
Yep, it's coming up, it's
But
one
we
of the
should-
lease sites.
We should make sure that that gets open to public.
Yeah,
'cause
Yeah.
That's,
It
that's
would be
not
nice
right.
to have that complete one
so
going through.
we'd like an update on that. And come on down, Bob. The following 7 lease sites commonly called the boardwalk sites are located from Block 6 of the Small Boat Harbor subdivision. And in the late 90s, all of those had to be upgraded to have their own water and sewer. And so most of them were moved or some were raised and they're built under them. So we have the Kenai Fjords Tours Adventure Building. Some of these are now owned by different people, but this is the first building. If you're going between KFT and the building on the south, that's the building on the south.
Okay.
And their lease is expired, so they must be on their first, or they're coming at the end of their first 5-year option. But I think it doesn't say, we don't have a recommendation until the end. Major Marine Tours, the Seward Wildlife Cruises, they still have the second building in that block, but they also sell their tours out of the Hotel
Hotel
360. So I don't know what's happening in there, but their lease is still current. Aurora Charters is still, their lease expired, so that should be updated. Seward Wildlife Cruises. That's not
What's
that
there?
anymore. I think, isn't that Elle and Steve's place is the next one? Elle and Steve's, but,
Well, I can't remember.
no,
you
I don't
spell
know.
that last name?
Zernia,
No, you said Alan C.
Elle and Steve, Elle and Steve,
Elle and
Elle and Steve
Steve.
Zernia. I don't know what the lot 8 is.
I know that.
But their lease is still current. And then the Lighthouse Gifts, the Warbles still have that. I believe, and their
So all
lease
those
was up.
places are leased, huh?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're all small leases.
Oh,
And so
my.
that lease, we need to know, are they, that needs to be updated, and dockside needs to be updated.
I
Yeah.
have a question, can they, sell their lease to somebody else if there's somebody not there anymore? Can they just sell it to someone else and move in and pick it up?
They'd have to go through the city.
Okay.
I mean, the lease they'd have to negotiate that through the city.
Yeah, so
And if they sublease, like if a lessee wants to sublease a portion of it
Yeah.
to something else, they have to go through the city as well.
Yeah, some of these I don't recognize, and I was trying to remember if some of them are gone.
Yeah, some of them have changed.
Yeah.
And then there's the Derby booth, which is the Chamber of Commerce again, and I don't know what the value of that is. But
Probably a
again,
decent amount.
yeah, I know that it used to be leased by people that paid money for it.
Yeah.
Two of us working.
And I know it's a valuable spot. The Derby runs out of there, and I think that's a great spot for the Derby to be run out of, but I think it should be taken into consideration.
What do they do with it the rest of the year?
It's, yeah, storage.
Storage.
Recommendation for all of those lease sites are to retain land ownership, continue all 7 boardwalk leases. So other than just cleaning up some of those descriptions, I think we're good on the recommendation.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
And that takes us to page 61, which is the KFT. I don't think it's Helly Hansen. Is it still Helly Hansen?
I think so.
Okay. So it's the bigger lot.
No extension options.
Yeah, no extension options. And then Ray's Restaurant was one of the first ones, 30 years in 87, and their lease, we need to figure out what happened with that lease, because it expired and it didn't have any extensions, so definite need an update on that
Free
description.
floating.
And they still don't have the boardwalk, which they were looking at here.
Does it say
Development of a portion of the public boardwalk, which is.
No, it is on the land side. You can walk the boardwalk goes on the land side of their building.
land side? Doesn't go
Land
on the water
side.
side.
Oh, so it goes in front of the building?
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the
jogs
on the
around.
parking lot
They
side.
opted for a parking lot side.
Oh, I see, the nice parking lot view, got it.
It would be nice to have that boardwalk go
All
all the way
through, that's what I was
across.
thinking.
I don't know how we would get that done or
Well,
who has to do
if they
it,
haven't got a new lease yet, it could be part of the new lease negotiations.
that's always a pain, and I see people like go to the end and try to figure out where to go, and then they're in the parking lot, and then I don't know.
So the,
It breaks it up a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
and right now, would be a great time to address that
Let's
with,
put it in there.
yeah. Okay, so recommendations, retain land ownership, continue lease with, boardwalk,
Development plan,
water
Water
side.
Oh, there you go.
boardwalk development.
since we already have one, it's the parking lot.
Yeah. 'Cause we have such a nice boat harbor.
It would be
People
nice to
love
be able to
walking.
walk the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really
exactly.
would.
Yep. Okay, with waterside boardwalk development plan. All right. Holiday Inn Express parking, which is,
Hotel 360 now.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Hotel 360, so that title needs to be updated, and that should be,
No, is it the same?
yeah, it's the parking lot. It's that
those
little
two
sliver of
pieces.
land
Yeah,
that is where now is also Portside and Dockside Dogs, isn't Porthole and Dockside Dogs are in that piece? Is that right? Map 2, lot 36, it's just a little
It's a
sliver.
little tiny sliver right in front of the hotel against the
Yeah.
road.
Okay, so then that's just part of the
Yeah.
parking.
So I think the buildings you're talking about are to the south. of
Oh,
that
they're in
long skinny one.
35.
Yeah.
Or yeah, 35.
Yeah.
You're right.
35, okay. So yeah, that's all managed by the Tugas corporations. But I think we need to know what happened to the City Council Resolution 2014-86 approved lease and sale agreement with the Alaska Railroad. Did it get sold, or, I mean, we're supposed to, these are our properties, and so we're reselling this to the railroad in trade for something. So.
What were we getting for it?
Yeah. Lease
If
is,
we're
lease
trading.
is an exchange for, with the railroad for the J-dock, fish cleaning dock, and oil recovery tank, which it would follow right along,
Not quite 34, but
yeah,
just to that little, that's that corner right there.
yeah. It's along the waterfront,
Yeah.
it's so that we would own all the stuff along the waterfront,
Okay, so we traded for those.
yeah.
That's weird how they're like encompassed, 34 is totally surrounded by 33
Yeah,
and 32 stuck in there, and I don't know, is that an adequate or an accurate depiction? or
it is
am I
because that's the city boardwalk in the city parking lots.
Gotcha,
And
Yeah.
it shows a boardwalk in front of Ray's, but it's not there.
Yep.
yeah.
And then the land
Oh, 19.
to the north, that's all railroad owned property, which is leased by other people.
Yeah.
Like the Hotel 360 is on railroad property, the train wreck is on railroad property.
No.
Okay.
These,
Are we moving to 62?
Oh, those, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
sorry.
Okay, so we just have questions about that resolution and an update on that description. Okay, Harbor Holdings, okay,
219. Okay.
Is that red?
That's that's a Subway complex,
Yep.
right? Yeah. With
It's-
the bakery and
yeah,
Oh, Gene's got those?
yep.
Oh,
I thought they went out of business, I saw nationally, Subway.
Well, this is owned by the parks, this subway. You thought the main subway went out of business?
Yeah,
Every town I've been in that had a subway is still open.
Yeah. it's-
Yeah.
I'll be darned, well,
I just saw a commercial.
I saw it on my
Subway.
stupid cell phone, that's how.
That's
much-
right,
Yeah.
don't listen to that
That's a
thing.
problem. Okay. Let's see. What is this?
Retain land ownership and continue lease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, I see.
And then Fish House and Bay Traders, retain land ownership and continue lease.
Yep.
I
Good
think
idea. They're good people.
there might need to be some description updates in the Harbor Holdings, because I don't think Sue's Teriyaki is in there anymore, but yeah, or
No,
even
it's
if there's an
not.
apartment, but upgrade that. I think Fish House is probably the same description. And Breeze Inn Motel,
And then,
and their lease is still current, so we're okay with the Breeze Inn?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and moving on to page 63, the gift shop, which is under the same owner as the Breeze. Retain land ownership and current lease.
Mm-hmm.
Then, now, I think we need to, I think the gift shop expanded and now has some these other places. Wild Iris, the Darlings had a store, and I think that got encompassed into the gift shop.
I think you're right.
So we
That's
need
like
to,
Forest Tides and Treasures.
yeah, we need to check that out, and if Forest Ties and Treasures is leasing a sublease under the gift shop, because that lease was good
44.
till 36, and Wild Iris was good till 44. And I think it all went under Breeze Inn, because it was Breeze Teas for a while, that big long one,
yeah.
and then it became Tides, Forest Tides and
Forest Tides.
Was there the
Treasures.
coffee shop there? And then
Yeah,
the,
so
Yeah.
all of that
Starfish,
needs
AK
to,
Starfish?
no,
Yeah,
that's
the
farther
next
down,
one.
That's
that's
second,
farther
okay.
down.
Oh,
Or was that Iris's? That might have been
That might
Iris's.
have been Iris's.
That might have been
Oh, okay.
Iris's. Yeah, these descriptions need to be updated. And I don't know what the Sewer Lodging 3 is.
That's on the corner.
Is that the
and that's-
Marina Restaurant?
Yeah.
The old Marina Seven, yeah.
So why does it,
I don't know why.
current
it
building
says-
houses a restaurant and a fishing charter office? Why is it called Seward Lodging 3?
Is that the name of his business?
oh, that's the business owner, business name.
Well,
Oh.
of that,
Like
of a
what he-
restaurant and a fishing charter office?
Probably what he operates it under.
It's probably
Well,
his,
like
Like a
DBA.
blanket.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
but then we call the gift shop a gift shop.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's operated under Mindenberg's corporate name. Anyway, Let's clean up titles as well. Confusing. Harbor Gateway, which is the gas station and the liquor store and all the little restaurants in that place.
Yeah, and that little, the office building.
Yeah,
thing.
there's offices upstairs, and it says retain land ownership and continue lease. The original had a car wash. The new lease in '84 was to expand the building. The building has been added and expanded to current configuration. Okay. Seward Fisheries. The lease expired in '18.
Oh my.
And it had no extension options. I think I remember discussion. Dispatch building is on the
Oh, yeah, okay.
other side as well,
Right at the top of the dock.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
that
their
little
lease expired,
building.
so that needs to be updated. But retain land ownership and continue lease. And then some more of the fiber optic cable landing with AT&T this time. So far, we've had all of them come in here. And
Fort Avenue.
that lease expired in 2015 but had extensions. And retain ownership and continue lease and easement. So this must be that it has an easement alongside the avenue. What?
Who's responsible for these leases?
The city finance department.
And they're not paying any attention to it, obviously.
Well, no, this hasn't been updated.
hasn't been
This is our responsibility to update this.
Oh,
They are
And we
collecting
haven't done it
checks.
Yeah.
since, in
They are
7
collecting
years.
checks.
Or slide.
they are.
Yeah, we're the ones that just haven't updated the paperwork. This is
Volunteers.
supporting document, yeah.
We
We're the
get to do
volunteers.
paperwork section.
All right.
Okay.
Food and-
Airport aviation and hazard easement area. It's retain ownership and continue easement. There is no lease for that. And so we own the airport, right? We own the airport. But I'm not on that
Can we
Port
own
and
this?
Commerce Board, but
I'd
we
say-
have a lot of back and forth on what's supposed to happen at the airport with the Department of Transportation. But I guess, yeah, owning it doesn't.
So, on the
Yeah.
map, it just shows like the mud flats to the southeast of the runway.
So DOT owns the airport? We just own the mud flats?
That's what it looks like.
Isn't there a subdivision technically out there?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
number one. We'll get
it's-
to it next, I think.
Oh.
It's the old greenhouse that I think has fallen down
Yeah,
now.
it has.
So this piece is just the
It's this here.
hazard easement area. Right, but why does it say airport aviation and hazard easement area? Is it the airport aviation easement area?
Maybe it's directly down from the runway. So is it a hazard easement for where planes come in? It's got to
guess.
keep a clear area.
I guess. Okay, retain ownership and continue easement, I think
Nothing
is
else we can do
still,
with
is still what we do.
it. Yeah. It's probably so nobody can build anything and get in the way of the airplane's approach.
They need to live underneath.
Okay, now are the SMIC area leases,
Mix.
which, cellular phone tower for ACS. Again, the description needs to be updated. The lease expired, and it doesn't say anything about extensions, so that needs to get updated. Spring Creek Correctional Facility. Continue efforts to transfer land and facility to the Alaska State Department of Administration, retain easements for all city infrastructure such as well, access dikes and water tank. Does anyone here know if the state purchased that land, or got the land? Did we transfer it?
Why are we selling the land to them?
We're not selling it, we're just transferring
Why
it
are
to
we
them.
transferring it to them?
Is that the ground that the institution's sitting on?
Yep, it's just the ground.
Because it provides a home for many people.
True, but what if it didn't at some point? Would we lose the land?
It's leased to the Department of Corrections through a lease purchase agreement. When the certificates of lease participation used to fund the construction are paid off, the property ownership was to transfer to the state.
I do believe, I remember one point in time, we were talking to the attorneys on that, and I think we did, or Spring Creek or the state had retained that. They were also negotiated with a few other things with the pond itself and the parking lot and the rest of that, to see if that is actually gonna be city or state, because all the land
Well,
around it.
if we look at the parcel 8 on map 4, it will show you what's included in
There's
this
a lot included
lease.
in
I think there's a lot.
There's a lot. I was just wondering, because if for some reason it does close, then the state just owns a bunch of land over there.
Yeah.
Because if we kept it, then if they left, we could use it for something.
The
So the
jail?
Kenai
No,
Peninsula
look at all the
Borough
land.
Yeah.
parcel viewer shows it as being owned as by Alaska State DNR.
Oh.
Okay, so it did go through.
DNR or DOC, Department of
DNR.
Corrections.
DNR.
They have different segment portions out there. It's a very convoluted kind of thing. I don't recall DNR buying it, but that makes sense. So actually, no, I stand corrected. Most of the correctional facilities are managed by DNR.
Oh,
Yeah, I just.
okay.
brought that back in my brain.
So maybe that, so we just need an update on that description or on the recommendation. And if it's all happened, I would say, take it off of here. It is not our land anymore.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So is this even ours? Okay. The NOAA weather radio tower, I say retain land ownership and
Yep.
continue lease.
I know
It's a
what that
10-year no-cost lease.
Keep it the same.
Yeah,
Number
lease
34.
expired in 2017, so update the description.
It's a big spot for just a radio
Yeah.
tower. There must be something else over there.
Guy wires holding it
Look how
up.
big it is.
Oh, my.
It's on page, is it on 8?
Or
88.
88,
Map 4.
map 4, number 34. Or, yeah, number, wait, 32. 32. Oh, no, it's small. Never mind. 32.
Yeah, it's just
I
a little
thought it was
teeny
34.
piece.
My mistake.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
mistake.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, okay.
GCI, there's no-
GCI communication,
the
satellite
same
TV
spot.
dishes, retain land ownership and continue, again, their lease, the description needs to be updated. USGS radio locator, beacon tower, same thing. The lease period is 2005 to 2020, so description needs to be updated. Any problem with retaining land ownership and continuing lease?
Nope.
No, not
I
at all.
doubt the US government's in
It's a good idea.
buying land. Okay, bigger, which of course that title needs to be changed, and I don't know why. If we could just get away from business titles, because
Yeah, it needs to be
the
like
land, it needs to be the lease number or something, and
Well, lease number's on there.
I know, but and it doesn't give us the description, but in the description it should say, you know, and this could still say that it was leased to Vigor and then it
Jag.
went to
Dry dock
Jag,
would be good.
yeah,
I think
the
it's
Seward Shipyard.
yeah, that's what it should be, Seward Shipyard.
right on.
Well, that was the name of the company, Seward Ships Dry Dock, was when Pruitt owned it, and so we don't want to use the name that he used, but something. So retain land ownership and continue lease,
Yep.
update the description in the title.
When's the lease up? Did it?
Well, it
see
said
it on
that the
2040.
lease
June
extended
30th,
it to 2040,
2040.
Wow.
but then somehow Vigor got out of the lease?
Yeah, they just bailed, pretty
I
much.
think they just left.
Yeah.
Packed up all their stuff and ran.
Yeah. When
Okay.
Jag took them over.
All right, Polar Seafoods, which is out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Their lease expired, so update description and retain lands and dock and continue lease.
Yep.
Global Tower Assets,
Never heard of
again, this lease is expired,
It's way down
4 or
the corner.
5 year lease, retain land ownership and continue lease. You know, do we want to sell any of these things? I mean,
I
do we
don't
want to sell communication stuff? I mean, why are we in landlords? We're landlords.
I think we should keep the land underneath a communication tower because if they leave, then we still own the land and can do something with it. If they own it, then they can leave and we can't lease it to somebody else.
Okay.
And they're such small little
Yeah,
spots
they're-
that,
Yeah, okay,
you know,
as long as we're making
Block some other
good
development.
money.
we're making some
All
money
right.
off of them and, you know.
All right, I'm on page 69.
Yep.
Okay, the fire safety training facility.
Keep it the same.
Alaska Logistics,
It expired in 2014.
so we need
One
to
5 year.
update.
Update.
And I don't even know if it's the same company name that has it.
I
Is
think it
that,
is still
is
Alaska
that Pat?
Logistics, right?
Yeah, Mars, is that Pat Mars's?
No, that was Communications North.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still Communications North, but he sold it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
okay, Harmon Properties, again, we need to update, nope, 20, no, we're not there yet.
Where are they? 412.
20,
It expires January 31st of 34, so
Oh, okay.
a few years away.
Lease extension by resolution 2014-073 to January 31st of 2113.
Whoa.
We're at 2021.
That's a
That's a long
that's a
way.
lease
That's a
extension.
99-year lease. He got a 99-year
Yeah.
lease. Okay. His grandkids will still be out there. And then we have
Rainbow's no longer
Raybo. Is there still around? Because
Nope.
there's 3 of their properties.
The owner of it.
They're all, I think they're all gone.
So
Yeah.
they left and we own the property again?
No,
Yes.
there's another couple out there.
Yep.
There is another couple out there?
Yeah, it's somebody else leased it.
Okay. So we need to update.
It's a married couple who are doing
Did the
one
boat
heck of a
repairs,
job.
Oh, is
Okay.
that Kenneth Amora's?
Huh?
What?
Kenneth Amora?
Yeah, what's the company name?
I don't know.
We need to update all of the Raybo. There's 4 of them.
Yeah.
Or 3 of them, I guess, the recommendation, but the recommendations can stay the same, but did these new lessees lease all 3 properties?
Do we have to, if they have to write new lease, you know, or can they just pick up where the old ones are? Since Raybo's gone and the new guy's in there now, are they just picking up with the old one, or do you get new dates and?
Well, you'd have to
I don't think they're
renegotiate.
transferable that way.
Yeah. If I was a city, I would renegotiate.
Definitely.
And should we be considering selling some of these just?
Well,
'cause-
that's,
I don't know,
yeah,
you just brought it up, and also she's brought it up at meetings, you know, if they wanna add on to their buildings, they wanna invest.
Right.
You know, and if they don't
Yeah.
own it, why bother?
Everybody knows where I stand. I'm against selling anything that's commercial because we make money over and over and over and over, year after year after year, which is money for the citizens. And if we were to sell land in this area, this is a big, nice industrial center that we own. And then we wouldn't be able to do something with it in the future. Say, I don't know, maybe some point down the line, people wanted to bring cruise ships over there, or some other sort of industry that was large and we still owned the land. We could do a lot of good things with it and bring a lot of money into the town by still owning it, instead of selling it off for the one-time cash in your hand.
Agreed, except for stifling the growth right now.
It's
Because they
growing
don't
pretty
wanna
fast
build.
over there. I don't think it's getting stifled.
Well, I think
So,
they're hesitant, they need
case in
housing,
point
and
was the
want more.
Chugach issue that we just went through. They could not get the funding they needed to purchase, to build a new improvement to our town unless they owned the land. Now, is that the same if you go into a bank and say, I'd like to increase my building size by 4 times, can you loan me the money? And they go, okay, what property do you own? I don't, I lease it. I mean, I'm not a banker, but I don't know how, I know there's issues with that.
Well, business is going really well over there, and I'd hate to sell off everything and then the city you don't get it back, and we're making money for the public on it. I mean,
Okay, looking at these leases, the only time we get to change the fair market value is when the lease comes back up. So, we just saw one that was a 99-year lease.
yeah, but the majority are 20 and 30.
Right, and so, and hopefully the new ones that they have just, that we're gonna see the next time we see this, are still in that time frame and not 99 years.
We could have somebody from the finance department come and give us the rundown on the
Yeah.
numbers, because, you know, I just don't wanna get rid of everything for a hot pan of cash and then 30 years down the line, somebody go kicking themselves for something we did. when they're
Well,
like,
as long as we are making something on them now,
True.
because the land values are
That's true.
way up.
Yeah,
And if we're not, I mean, we've seen some that are no-cost leases.
yeah,
Yeah.
which
But-
I don't agree
Yeah.
with no cost leases.
Yeah,
But you could put some conditions to use. I mean, you could sell it, but have,
reverter clause.
yeah,
They have a reverter.
yeah.
A
If it was
reverter clause.
abandoned or to be sold, the city would have first shot at it, something like that.
First.
Yeah.
And then you'd get the same
Mm-hmm.
consequence. It wouldn't necessarily, you could actually grow development without the risk that you're concerned about of being abandoned and not being able to be used.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's a recommendation we can make in the overall recommendation, that, where
And this-
the lessee has expressed interest of purchase, consider, ask council to consider sale with reverter clause, or first
right-
option,
Yeah,
first
first
right
right
of
of
refusal.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that might work. We could also rezone some of them some sort of residential and sell those off for subdivisions. People could live over there.
Totally, I think,
Yeah,
yeah, we want.
I
to
think-
expand
It's a nice
growth
place to
over
live.
there
It would be.
because-
Yeah.
And I am all for selling city land that goes for homes.
okay, well, let's find that piece.
Like
Okay.
Number 4.
Number 4, wait, where's that?
That's a lot of acreage.
And the cost, we'd have to put in the infrastructure.
It's that bench right there is a pretty nice
Oh,
house.
I know, I know.
How many acres is that, 144 acres?
Well, bench is only like
Okay, you
just
guys,
right here.
we got 20 minutes and we've got 22 pages. So, we're back.
1 minute.
Okay, Sawmill Tidelands, retain ownership of Tidelands. The Tideland parcel was leased in support of the old sawmill site in shiploading dock. The lease expires in June 15th, 2053. So that one must have had a reverter clause.
Most of it is Thailand. There's a little bit of beach there, but it looks like most of the land is actually below mean high tide. So
Can't do
can't do anything with anything.
Can't do a subdivision.
No. It's
Okay,
public.
we're on to 71. J-Dock used oil shed and J-Dock fish cleaning station. This was a part of the, continue
Back
the
on
lease
other side.
and use until the lease and sale agreement is finalized. So this definitely needs an update on the description. We can't really do anything until we find out what's happened with that.
Yeah.
And the small boat harbor east breakwater, continue agreement in use until, again, we need to know what's happened with the description in the lease and sale. Hemlock Street water well. That's in Forest Acres, continue agreement in use.
Yeah.
And we are leasing it from the borough. These are lands that we lease from other people,
Okay.
okay? So the railroad, the borough.
I got it. That's why they're not on the map.
Iron Mountain Shooting Range, I had a question on this. We lease it from the borough, and is it a no-cost lease? And if it is, in the city's leasing it, is it open to the public?
It's open to the public if you're lucky enough to take the course to get it.
And how do you get the course?
I've called half dozen times over 3 years and I've never been able to get it.
So it really isn't open to the public.
Most certainly it's not.
So we need to, continue agreement and use. Who's the agreement with? Operated by the agreement with the Iron Mountain Shooting Club?
Yeah, that's
Creek
one.
Run. Buying the
I've
truck.
been able to get,
I keep calling and it's like, call next week. Oh, call next month. Oh wait, call. I can never get a hold.
So continue
I know people that have
Agreement
too, but
and-
I can't.
Must be a timing thing. right?
Must be.
Yeah.
I don't know. You get message machine or you talk to someone?
No, I talk to somebody and they say, oh, we'll have it in 2 weeks, and I'll call you. Of course, never call me back, so I call in 2 weeks. Oh, next month. And then it just keeps dragging on like that, and I haven't called for a while because I just gave up. But I would like to use it, and I haven't been able to.
So
Tell
it,
you know Craig, and they'll help you.
I'll just go with Craig.
Just go with Craig.
Just go, yeah.
so the lease doesn't expire for another 5 years, but I think that if this is something the public is, it's supposed to be public. We're leasing it, but the city is leasing it from the borough. It's for public use. It's got to become more usable.
Yes, I was under the impression before reading this that it was a private club.
That's the way it's being utilized.
Yeah, I was trying
And
to hear.
it's not, I mean, so a continue lease agreement and improve, I don't know, and
Accessible.
Open
make,
to the public?
and
Yeah.
make it open to public. Yeah, because it's not open to the public. I understand
It's a locked
safety.
gate.
I understand safety,
Of course.
but it's got to be something that, you know, can be utilized by more public. And I don't see that. And you're not the first one I've heard not
No.
have issues with getting in there. Okay, now we're down to vacant lands, other than the SMIC lease area. And so maybe there's something in here we could
Ooh, yeah.
sell to a developer.
428
4th Avenue, Central Business District. It's north of the fire hall, and they want to
Oh, yeah.
retain land ownership and continue to develop municipal office and public safety building campus. That is where I think they want to put the ladder truck building, north of the current fire hall.
So, does that mean that they don't want to, because didn't we set some land aside out by the dump road for proposed
Fire,
fire
a new fire,
structure
yeah.
at some point?
But not to replace this one, to have an additional.
Have an addition,
Oh,
okay, I
yeah.
thought we put that aside for them to move out
No.
there.
No, this
Okay.
would still be part of the campus here,
Okay.
even though the floor is cracked.
And
I think they just could still use it for things, but not
isn't that big enough out there to just get
move
rid
the
of
whole
this one and
thing.
move the whole thing? I mean, this fire building
I
is
think
in,
it's response time is what they're,
yeah, but they're not very far.
4 acres. Pardon?
I'm not gonna say it again. Anyway, I don't know, I think, that having something in both ends of town would be better than just out, farther out of town.
Suppose.
But, so can we say retain land ownership?
Yeah.
I would say so.
Continue to develop municipal offices of public safety building campus, okay? All right, then the former USCG site, the Coast Guard site and the small boat harbor. Again, work with the railroad to develop harbor plaza area or retain parking. Isn't that the site that we were gonna,
That's what those
it's
little gift shops
the
are.
L-shaped
Yeah.
parcel
It's still
located
empty.
east of
It's where the
4th
Coast
Avenue?
Guard building was?
Yeah.
I think they're just parking right there now, they haven't put a building on it yet, I think it's.
No, there's little gift shops next to it, but it's just parking lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the front of the parking lot where Porthole is.
Where the,
Porthole.
where Porthole, it's so that the water side, it's the water side of
No,
that
it's the
parking lot?
street side.
Street side, well, the Porthole's near the water.
Right.
Let's develop it as parking and add it to the parking group structures that we have in those areas. Number
So-
10 and
So let's say
33.
work with ARC and retain for parking.
Because we don't have enough parking down there during the summer.
No, we don't.
And if we lumped that in with 33 and 10, or not in, but you know what I mean, put it in the parking scheme, then we could do paid parking there.
So right now, why do we have to work with ARRC at all on it? Oh, it's part of the sale agreement. So again, where are we on that sale and lease agreement? does it say who owns these on that borough?
Yeah, it does say that L-shaped location, it does say Alaska Railroad Corporation.
So it still
1324.
hasn't happened? Okay,
Well, that's in front of J-Dog.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, are we on 73, the Fort Raymond, or the former Air Force Rec Camp? So, in 2014, we said retain land ownership and review development possibilities. So since then, we have sold
She got you.
3.5 acres
3.3, I thought, or something.
out of the 11 acres.
Yeah, but how
And-
much for Public Works?
Well, they wanted 4, but we've had a lot of comment from people, well, maybe not a lot, but any comment's a lot right now, about that having the Public Works Department egress and ingress in that location would not be the best thing, and why wouldn't they move out farther along Dick Raff Road
Because
for a public?
like, that Dick Craft Road is flood areas.
Not near the highway, parts near the
So-
highway.
Like number 1, way back to the east. On that map.
What number map are you on?
Page 87, map 3.
Map 3,
Isn't
map
that
2,
Bond
map
that built that
3.
stuff?
Well,
That
like,
was
I'm just
like
looking
that
at.
triangle area? Oh,
Well, we own the triangle area. We own one where the levee is, and then we own on the south side of Dick Raff Road as well.
right.
It would get it off of the main drag into town. Currently, what is number 4 on that map?
It's right next to Diamond, isn't
Oh,
we
that's
have to
that's
track it.
that's the piece we sold part of to the senior center.
The old-
That's
Oh,
where the
yeah.
basketball court is. Yeah.
Okay.
So what they wanted to do was take, like, if you look at number 12 on map 3 and draw a line straight to the north from 12 and take that section of 7, that's where they wanted to put it.
Yeah, up against the generator area, which would be a buffer because it's a loud generator.
Okay, so then we're left with, so if they take 4 and they took 3.5, so we've got about 4 acres left. So again, if we can't do some sort of a recreation center for our community that's open year-round to our residents, that can't be closed, can't be managed by the school district, can't be managed by any other institution but our own, city-owned. Put something in there for our residents. It's close to utilities, it's close to the schools, it's close for people coming in from out of town who are gonna pick up their kids, wanna just go in for an hour and work out. It's near Safeway, if you're gonna run to the store, go there, shoot some hoop, and then go. It's easy access, it's,
Would you rather have, so you're proposing instead of the city works, or public works?
no,
a,
let the public works, if the public works, if that's what their hearts are set on, I'm all for moving public works out of
Yeah, of course. we all
out of
want
there.
that.
Yeah, and if they won't go anywhere else that has better egress and
Yeah.
ingress, then maybe they can, we'll just go with what's left
So you want the rest of that for
for a rec center.
Would you rather have the rec center there? I was thinking more up by the old Jesse Lee home, which is in the middle of where all the young people live.
Well, it's not just for the young people, it's for parents and,
Well, I mean, like the
Well,
kids,
yeah.
like that's all the young families.
There's a lot
we
of
didn't
high-density
keep any of that Jesse
Yeah.
Lee property. We put it all into a park.
Yeah, but when we put it into the park, it was designed out so that it would be easy to move one section of it back into a public rec center area.
Yeah.
All those designs had an area that
Okay.
could be changed.
The issue with that is, to access it, you're going through residential areas.
That is true.
And it's pretty busy up there
Yeah,
already.
and I think this has easier access for maybe people who don't have kids in school. Or grandparents, or kids with kids that are younger than school age. I just think, right now, we used to have a basketball court downtown. We used to have a TYC downtown. We
Yeah.
used to run those through city, and they were city-owned properties. They weren't owned by other people where we had to get permission to use them.
I'm all for the construction of one. I was
Right,
just
I understand.
wondering if, I kind of like it up there on the hill, but.
I'd like up on the hill be more residential.
Okay.
That was my gist during that whole discussion, that we
Okay.
break part of it off and sell it for homes. Not for apartments, sell it for homes.
I also think coming into town, you want to make sure that you have things that are appealing, because as you run into town, you've got, besides just hitting, at the fringe of town, all that industrial and beat up stuff and everything else like this, and it still comes in, you'd still like to have something that's, has a good, faceboard or, frontage
Yeah.
that is appealing to you, so when you come into town, you're not looking at, besides the coal chute and all this other garbage that's out there, and you're like, oh, what a little town, you have
The
to.
train,
Yeah.
the train tracks are train towns, towns have them, and, yeah, they've
Well-
done fairly good. But so, retain land ownership and review development possibilities. This definitely has to be updated, because we have sold acreage, and, the city water wells, there aren't 3 of them there anymore. There's no major transmission line through there, as according to Public Works. So,
It'll sort of be interesting to see after Chugachmee starts its build and puts stuff there, what's sort of left over, because I don't know how soon they're gonna
Yeah.
start breaking ground to see what the impact is to the area too.
I think if they had 3.5 and the Public Works wanted 4, that's 7.5.
There's 11 acres there, isn't
Right, so that leaves 3.5. And I don't know what Boulder Field was, but I wouldn't mind a skating rink and a basketball court at Boulder Field,
Yeah, that
and
definitely down
then
there.
an indoor facility.
Out there.
We definitely need
Here.
an indoor
it?
facility.
That's a great
Right.
idea.
I was just thinking up there because this whole neighborhood could walk there, which would be nice. But actually, I don't really care where it is. I was thinking here because the
But
whole
Well,
neighborhood
I think,
could walk there.
I think holding a piece of that property for the potential is a good idea, and plan A, plan B.
I think
Yeah.
we have 2,
Fine.
and it is, Forest Acres kids can walk there, Doorway kids can walk there. The downtown kids would have to walk there too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all uphill.
Through 6 feet of snow.
Okay, so what do you
So,
want to say with this one?
I want to say, I want it updated, and, so that we then only have 7 and a, no, let's see, we've sold 3.5, so that makes it 7.5 acres left. So out of the 7.5 acres we have left, retain the land ownership, review possibilities for a city-owned recreation center, and Public Works relocation.
I'm good with that.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you get that, Courtney? Thanks.
That's good.
Okay.
Good job.
All right, Fort Raymond, south corner of Sea Lion and Seward Highway.
That's that little one on like Diamond and Seward Highway. That little guy.
I'm gonna read these maps on the back.
That little.
Yep, that was,
Oh, okay.
That little guy,
I'm a little guy.
That's what you got.
What is that zone? Institutional. Yeah.
2, so it's across the street.
It's the
It's
triangle.
a long skinny thing. Sell with sound development plan. So that one we wanted to sell, period. And we were thinking somebody could make a campground out of it, but whatever.
Let's rezone it. some
Deed
sort of
restrictions
residential.
have moved, and it says it's within the 100-year floodplain, but with the new LiDAR maps, that might need to be updated too, so update that, description on that one. Okay, 74. Bayview. Retain ownership for the time being if land on the east side of Harold Avenue right-of-way develops, this property might be usable, otherwise retained for watershed and scenic backdrop.
Definitely tucked away
Where is that? Two
It's
two?
here.
Oh,
Map
there.
2,
Yeah.
2,
what,
2.
let's see, vacant undeveloped timberland. What's it zone? It's zoned,
Resource management,
Yeah,
wait, no, it's single,
2.
number 2.
oh, zoning, yeah. But it's land use plan is single family R1.
Mm-hmm.
Can we zone it R1 and sell it?
It would be nice, but it's a residential area.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
zone it, rezone it and sell it.
Yeah. Harold Avenue right-of-way develops at the east side of Harold Avenue. I don't even see a Harold Avenue. It must be
Harold's right
platted
back
but
there.
not made.
It's right behind, that Chiswell area and everything.
Yeah,
Something-
I see where
it's
it
all
is.
tucked away.
There is lines, so there must be a Harold Avenue. That Harold Avenue must be right in front of it, and then there's, yeah, let's see if we can get some developer up there.
Definitely.
Okay, so rezone, retain, no, so let's change the
You've got
whole
the zoning part
recommendation
already.
and say rezone to R1 and sell.
Sell.
Okay. Marathon Edition west of Glacier View Departments, map 1, item number 24.
I have a question
Teeny
about this.
tiny spot behind Glacier View.
Yeah, this land, so it says in here, I have a question about the,
Yeah, but
let's
Glacier
see,
View.
looking at Glacier.
there's houses.
The partially used by Glacier View as access to waste dumps. But also, that lot is kind of just used by the people who lived around it to store stuff.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
So it's
this
a
like
dump?
trash catch-hole
It
of
Oh,
looks like
yeah.
it's privately owned. I walked by there today.
Yeah, it's, the neighbor just puts
Yeah.
whatever on
It's
it.
like Trump flag and junk.
Oh,
Yeah, cars and whatever.
declare excess to city needs, sell or trade. Best
Rezone
use
and
appears
sell.
to be. So right now it's urban residential. Do we have to rezone it?
I don't, what's around it?
Glacier View Apartments
It's got Glacier View,
and,
hospital,
and the
a couple of,
townhouses across the street.
and then a single family, I think.
There's
back
two,
there.
There's
two
two
residences,
R1s.
two residences right there.
There's two R1s on the other side of it.
It's 6,000 square feet. That, something could be built there.
It's 2 lots.
So it's a little, like, plotted out a little cul-de-sac there, it looks like. And
It's
the two-
actually one lot. It's already replatted into one lot.
Okay, because there's R1 on the other side of it.
Right.
So do we, it butts up against R1. We want to move it R1?
Well, we don't, yeah. If, you mean this right around it on the north side is R1?
Right here. This and this.
24.
Oh, that's R1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
So
26.
Let's,
Make it R1
let's
and sell it.
rezone,
oh, 'cause
yeah. Declare access to city needs. It's, I guess we have to say that up on the top one too, declare access to city needs on the Bayview one. It's gonna be some nice view lots. Rezone to R1 and sell, and so we say rezone to R1 and sell.
Yes.
Another one.
And that number 24 is what you said is 6,000 square feet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
6,000
Yeah.
square feet.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Go for a little team, right?
And it's already one lot, easy peasy. Okay, Tideland unsubdivided remainder, it's not on a map, but it is the
What is this? This is
retain
all-
ownership replat as needed and budget allows. It's city
map.
tidelands vary from deep water to mud flats, land use planning and zoning designations of tidelands match adjacent uplands. So it's from south of the waterfall to point between C and D. It's all of 5, I guess.
5 is what it is?
Well, it doesn't say,
No, it doesn't, but that seems
but
to
that's
be
gotta
what it
be
is.
it, yeah.
Well, it's-
Well, or
Oh,
something else. C and D, C and D are way over here. C and D are even farther south than Boulder Stadium, so I don't know
so
what
is
it is.
This here?
it doesn't say anything on the map, but yeah, I think that's what it means.
Well, regardless, it looks like it's all water and
Yeah,
below mean
so
high
let's
tide,
just leave it.
so leave it.
Okay, moving to 75. Nash Road Shore Property Line, declare access to city needs, sell or trade with sound development plan. It is currently zoned as resource management. It is a parcel located on the east shore of Resurrection Bay, just north of the old freight line dock. Map 4, page parcel 3. It's,
There's all kinds of pieces and parts there.
yeah, is this one, much of it's canyon, it's really steep, no public water, sewer, or electric available.
Yeah.
I think we just sell it. I don't know why, trade with sound development plan, what
What do
would we
we-
trade it for?
What do we want to do for zoning on it?
Well, resource management, we could change that
Let's change that.
to what?
R1.
UR?
No, I was thinking you are,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
because I doubt we could do R3.
no, UR. It doesn't really have any access right now, I think someone tried to build some access down to one of
Yeah.
those properties, that privately owned property there might have a road down to it, that they could get some sort of easement across to get to it. But if we make it more usable, resource management, if you look at our land use allowed tables, resource management doesn't,
It'd be
yeah,
none the most northern one, the larger spot would be really nice. It'd be steep, but it'd be nice for houses in there.
well, we can change that because it's the next one.
Right, which one are you on?
Well,
Map
we're
4-3.
here. Yeah, we're on,
This is what I'm talking about, this section.
right, all of that's 3.
Yeah.
All of that's 3, but they're broken into 3 different
Oh, I
pieces
got
on
you.
here.
Three,
Yeah,
three
yeah, yeah.
is three,
Yeah, and so they're all listed as resource management, and they
Okay.
all say declare access to city needs, sell or maintain, or trade with sound development plan, maintain public access to beach. But we should, if we wanna rezone it, let's rezone it, cause right now our
Rezone it and sell it.
resource
Yeah.
management does not allow, it doesn't allow a nightclub.
That's good. It's only-
Darn.
Resource management doesn't allow house rentals on a nightly basis. Where's our regular houses?
I think you're right, it's, resource management really limits it. I think
Yeah,
more
it
than
limits
something
it
like
too
UR would
much.
be
And it's a beautiful view lots.
Somebody could build it on the
Let's
the
do
slope.
houses on it.
Yeah, so let's change it to what?
Let's change it to
R1, R2, or R3, whatever anybody wants.
let's do it's pretty steep. If we
Somebody,
do R3,
they could
they
build
could do R1 or R2.
Yeah.
That gives the most amount
Yeah.
Flexibility.
of flexibility.
so I'm
Even
just
if
gonna
it was
take,
UR, you could put a, if it was UR, you could put a residential house on it, couldn't you?
Yeah, but you
But
might not
office
get a
residential,
house.
too.
It'd be better.
You might get a barn.
Yeah, you might get something
Yeah,
else.
okay.
And
So
with R3,
rezone-
we give all the options of houses.
Yeah,
to
okay.
R3.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are, all of that, the only change we have on it is under land use plan and zoning.
So, the property 1, 2, and 3 are all gonna go to R3.
Right,
Yes.
so now, tideland along Nash Road is this,
Is that, there's a water tower back there too, near the prison?
That's right there.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm talking
So-
about this corner right here.
view shed.
So do you wanna, maybe we put something in it that this committee work towards a development plan?
Yeah, what I think we're gonna need to, I'd like to see houses up here, but this lot is so big, and that vast majority was actually just the mountain. How do we, like, carve off an area that actually would be usable, like that that small portion, or right in there?
How do we
that-
even know how much is used?
This, we need a graph,
Topo map?
yeah, topo map,
Yeah.
and then we could pick out a section. So why don't we, as a recommendation, separate out a section to rezone as UR?
Uh,
Because they're gonna need some commercial development up there. They're not gonna live that far out of town with
I-
something
With no
commercial.
resources to get to
Yeah.
those.
I think the best thing, well, for future, what I would like to see is that bench zoned like R2 or R1, and down below it, maybe in 7 on the flats, that's where all the UR would be. The commercial down the flats and the up, that awesome view, just rows of nice houses.
Okay, rezone as R2.
2? Because 2
Okay,
gives you a little,
okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Separate out a section to rezone as R2. What did we say we were gonna do with 7? Have we done anything with 7 yet?
I didn't see it come up yet.
Oh, it's next.
Next, yeah.
It's the compost area.
Yes, which
Okay.
all of it is composted and able to be moved. It's
Okay,
just sitting
there we go. So separate us out a section as, to rezone as R2. Okay, and then what are we gonna say with what's currently the recommendation? Extend a moratorium,
For sale,
Yeah.
until a complete study, which is
Yeah.
what we still need.
evaluate for future uses. Well, we'd have to, I mean, we need firefighting. Nobody's gonna give them insurance without,
But
you
Fire
know.
wanted to put,
Yeah, I was gonna say
Something
something
over
Yeah.
they
there.
had
Yeah.
a spot and they wanted to put something for SMIC anyway.
They have
Okay,
Station 3 over there, don't they?
they do, in, yeah.
And we gave them that
Separate
number
out a section
15,
to
was it,
rezone as
on
R2.
here? We set number 15 aside for them to develop something.
Yeah.
And SMIC over there is growing, and
Okay.
they already want more houses over
Right.
there
Oh, yeah.
for
Yeah.
for all the workers.
Okay.
And if we start,
Can we then say, leave the remainder as resource management?
yeah,
Okay,
because the remainder, I don't think we could actually do anything with it, so we should just let it stay kind of mountainside.
okay.
They'll probably be very happy
So,
whoever
and
builds there
we,
that has that.
that's,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, how long are we gonna wait to evaluate the future use? We are the future. We
Is-
need
Yes.
residential
We need a
housing
subdivision.
opportunities.
Who does the study for something like that? Do we have
The
to hire?
developer. The developer.
Okay.
And now we have a way to get roads in with
Mm-hmm.
that joint project. And
Okay.
water and sewer are already down below, but we might have to they might have to put septics, I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, if we, just like we did in, Forest Acres, the property side, the lot sizes had to be larger
In order to have a septic.
in order to have septics.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't want no 6,000 square foot lot up there.
No,
No.
You
No.
want more
rezone is R2 with larger lots.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice larger lots.
Yeah, okay,
Starting to feel like it's all right.
to allow
So
You
I'd
could
like.
build lot
septic,
houses
to
on
allow
every lot.
water and
Should be.
septic. Okay,
I'd love to see big mansions up there.
you want, you got it? Okay, all right.
Now, the way-
Next was the one, the compost area, lot 7 on map 4.
Wait, what
Are
page?
we talking kind of?
We're on page
compost? I would be
77.
thinking about what compost is.
The sludge from the,
Oh,
yeah.
that's not compost.
well, it is, it's the inert,
It's
it's
compost
the-
now.
from the
It's
sewer,
dirt.
sewer lagoon sludge.
Oh, that.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
that
sewer
definitely
lagoon sludge.
compost.
So retain ownership, continue the composting program, possible site for satellite fire station for SMIC.
You don't
So,
No.
we don't want to do that. We want to change the zone, the rezone and the land use to, what's after central business district?
Well, we don't want it out of commercial.
No, you are?
You are,
Okay, you are,
yeah,
to you are,
Is that because you can put some shops and stuff?
yeah,
yeah.
you are.
We could be a,
You can have a
support
grocery
for homes.
store, yeah. And so recommendation, sell as commercial support properties for Nash Road bench residential.
So I have just a quick question, that's the road that goes down right adjacent, isn't that where Betty Cato is? And that's where the compost thing is, and so is that where it's gonna be heading down to the prison? Isn't that the same area, or am I off?
It's.
This is 7.
Yeah, that's where the
North of
prison-
Betty
No,
Cato,
this
yeah.
is prison, the road to the prison is
So it'll
right
just
on-
be before there,
Yeah,
okay,
this is
got it.
just a wooded lot with rows of dirt.
got it.
When they dredged out the septic pond in early 90s, I don't know, it was a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
They dumped it all out there,
I
and
know, yeah, part of it's over on the prison
So
side
it's
too. a little
been
bit too,
20
but
years, about
Yeah.
15 at
I've
least.
heard that it's gone through its
Life cycle.
duration that it needs to sit, and it's ready to be used.
Okay. All
So
right.
the city could make money selling it or just
Sell?
use it.
Okay, keep going. Let's
Okay.
keep going. Did you get that?
Yep.
Okay. Vacant lands available for lease at SMIC. Block 2, we're still on map 4 and it's number 15, which that has already been changed. It said retain ownership available for lease, but we set it aside as, fire station, right?
Isn't, 515
Block
is
2.
fire station.
Yeah.
78.
415, so retain ownership, scratch available for lease and say, site for fire station. Block 3 is number 16, which is very small, across the street from 15. Zoned industrial, and our last one was retain ownership available for lease,
I believe it has a couple derelict boats on it.
okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, block 5, which is number 17 on map 4, which is a larger lot south of 15. Retain ownership and available for lease. Haven't we at least some of these?
I think so.
I thought,
So I think we need to have
a lot there.
these,
Yeah.
these, SMIC lease lots updated to make sure we haven't already leased some.
I know 18 has a bunch of things on it, and I'm pretty sure 17 has stuff on it as well.
Yeah, so 18, yeah, I think we've got stuff on those.
Maybe just double check.
Yep,
yeah, there's boats on
those we can't do
Yeah.
anything with until we check what we've already done. Block 7 over there is number 21,
21.
which is behind the ship lift on the way to the beach.
And there are
And the
leasers
roads and
on that.
everything. There's what?
People do lease that corner, I think.
Yeah, so that one is another one that we need an update on. If they're not leasing it, they better start, because they're using it.
Or else we're gonna sell it.
Then we've got block 8, which is number 23, which is beach,
It's
pretty
beach.
much
Still same area.
beach. Retain ownership, evaluate shoreline erosion.
Yeah, I don't think you can do anything.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do much with that.
There's
I-
about an acre of, under
Yeah.
recommendation. We've already handled what we are doing with it, so I'd like to also put reevaluate a portion for possible residential development.
For R1 or R2?
R, residential R1,
R1, I'm good with that.
R1, residential R1
Yeah,
development.
I like that. More R1.
Okay.
It's too crowded over there.
Tax foreclosed properties. Now, this needs to be updated too, because we bought, some tax foreclosed property up on 1 and then by the post office, and I think they've both all been
They're all
sold.
been-
Yeah.
all those
So
are-
those need to be updated, and then bottom of page 81 says land to consider for acquisition. Japanese Creek gravel source, so the state denied our at request, so the recommendation was continue to seek it. I don't know why we need gravel. We
You
don't.
don't know why
but-
we need
so-
gravel?
No, I know why we need gravel. We have tons of gravel. This other side of the peninsula doesn't have gravel. We have gravel. We keep getting it down our streams.
So are they requesting this so that they can have the ability to maintain that flood area the way they want to? Or maybe we should talk to the flood board about why.
It's for flood control, gravel source and flood control.
So if we own it, we can get in there and work it like
Yeah,
we want, but if
right.
the state owns it,
Oh,
we
I see.
can't.
Right.
So I
So
could see.
Still
to-
continue
yeah,
to seek
we want to
acquisition?
take it so we can,
Okay,
use
so
it.
we'll leave that one alone.
That's a good decision.
Okay, additional land for City Hall Public Safety Complex. Acquire the lots from the Volunteer Fire Department, which are,
Which ones?
there, I think it's the low area between the old Forest Service building and the flat, just on the north side of the fire hall. You know, there's that deep
Oh,
Yeah.
area. I think that's the Volunteer Fire Department. So they don't have a map number or anything. But it is in the central business district, and it was something they wanted to add to our complex.
What do they want to put there?
Just City Hall, Courthouse, Public Safety Complex.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
And then additional land for hospital, clinic, or senior housing. This is, up on First Avenue. These are the parcels where Wesley was, and they acquire this property for expansion of the hospital campus or senior housing. What is the status of
We
that
already-
property right now?
The health center owns it,
So you own it, so
2 lots.
change that one. We don't own this anymore. Or, well, we don't
Did
want it,
Craig
we
say
can't
he owned
acquire it anymore.
Craig doesn't own it. My employer owns it.
Craig's paying the bill though. So,
got
Benson Drive Extension, I really wanted this when we redid the Jesse Lee home property because our fire department wants it, our emergency services want it. It's a huge safety issue, the road should go through. But and that's what it said here in 2014, acquire lot 1, block 4 in the south 60 feet of track C3 to allow for the extension of Benson Drive through to the Gateway subdivision.
Is that that's the path then?
There is a
It goes
path.
right
here.
from- Okay.
Yeah,
I know Jackie's mentioned because there are those electrical transmitter boxes there, it would be $1 million to put a road in there, because you have to move those.
we'll move them.
So that's the only
I mean,
consideration there.
it's a safety concern. We can dip around the transform
Now,
boxes.
are you talking about coming from extending doorway down to Sweatman? Is that
Yep,
the one you're talking about?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it used to only have one access into that area up there,
Yeah.
Gateway, but now it has the northern access, which is the gravel road that goes to Forest Acres.
Yes.
So it does have another access. It isn't as unsafe as it was in 2014. There was no north access.
Okay.
So I don't know, what do you guys think about this? Because if it's $1 million to put a road through, maybe we just change what access.
Let's find out before
Yeah,
we.
because I think a road through there would be a good idea, but if
Yeah.
it's not feasible, it's not feasible.
Right.
Unless we can dip the road, I
But
mean,
I
go
guess we
around the
can.
But
transmission.
let's just see if it's feasible
Okay.
or not,
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay. That'll be a Jackie feasibility. She'll have to report back to us. So we're on page 83. Watershed scenic backdrop. This is a 100+ acre tract once owned by the Methodist Women's Global Mission, located on the side of Marathon Mountain above the Bayview Addition, and now privately owned. Past owners have been approached, hopefully by the city about allowing the land to be logged. This property is part of the Marathon Mountain watershed, and as a view shed, it is visible to the entire upper Resurrection Bay area. A trail through this property was used by the Jesse Lee home residents to reach Mount Marathon, Waterfall, and Bull. City owns a strip centered on Scheffler Creek that splits this parcel. Pursue conservation overlay easement to prevent logging and to protect watershed view shed. So it is on the map.
Is it 26?
Which
It's
map are
on
you
map.
talking about?
Where is it?
You can see where it cuts through, if you look at the zoning map, you'll see, where it cuts through. There's a little,
This one?
yeah, maybe that's not the right one. There's a line of property of like resource management that goes through privately owned land
Oh,
behind Jesse Lee. Behind Wesleyan on First.
this here.
Yeah, well, no, that's too far to the north.
Well,
I
this is
think-
all, I don't know.
This is,
I think it's that little strip right there of green. No, come this way. This way, come this way. No, that little dark green, resource
Yeah, the one I was
management.
touching right here.
No, what is that little one right there?
This little green?
Yeah, dark green, that little dark green.
That's dark green.
It cuts through that privately owned property that's owned by Wesleyan.
Okay.
So it mentions logging. We don't do any logging in the sewer, do we?
No, somebody wanted,
Somebody
past
wanted to log it.
owners wanted to
Oh,
log
they
it,
did want to
Yeah.
log it?
yeah. But now the city wants to buy it.
I think that's a
Buy
good
it.
idea.
City owns a strip, pursue conservation.
Absolutely
Yeah.
buy it.
Buy
For
it?
View shed, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't say buy it as a recommendation. It says city owns a strip on Scheffler that splits this parcel, pursue conservation overlay easement to prevent logging and protect watershed and viewshed. I don't think we can put a conservation overlay on somebody else's property, can we?
Do we have that strip and that's what, they just wanna do it on the strip?
No, nobody wants to log, oh, you mean conservation on the strip?
Yeah, the
Oh,
city owns the strip.
but
so-
that wouldn't, we wanna, if this is under property we wanna buy, land to consider for acquisition.
Yeah,
So
so overlay easement to.
it's
prevent logging and
48
protect
acres
watershed.
it's on Ialic and Benson, it's almost 100 acres. 100 minus
I feel like
acre
we should get
tract,
some more information on it,
yeah,
because I don't even know where it is.
we need a better map.
Yeah.
Envisioning it, and that'd be a chunk of change, though.
Okay, and then the state maintenance site, the shop. We're gonna keep going, Nathaniel.
Yes.
The state shop, if the state shop completely moves out of town pursuant acquiring the property under the municipal entitlement. Okay, that is property which is between the tot lot by the Little League field, behind,
It's at the end of
Woody's.
Fifth,
It's near Woody's.
yeah, behind Woody's.
on B Street.
And Barterson owns the property
Woody's.
south of it,
Mm,
and Tugas owns other property south of it.
yeah, the house across the street.
Yeah, so it is zoned in what zone area right now?
I think that's all urban
is
residential.
Urban
in,
residential?
Let's see.
No, office residential, that's,
Goes
because I live
right by
right
the
there.
water tank.
It's,
Yeah.
it borders on office residential and urban residential.
Mhm.
And
Okay,
it's zoned, auto commercial right now.
That's what it
Wait, no, excuse me, it's zoned, industrial.
it's
right now.
industrial, but if we purchased it and they cleaned it up, what do we wanna make it?
And it has auto commercial all around it, but it would make nice homes.
Oh, it's right near the ball fields, too.
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
tot lots, or
Mhm.
you know, the different areas where the kids play, so it's,
Uh-huh.
be nice to have the houses there because.
There are houses to the south of it.
Yes,
Yes.
there
It's all
are. They're
housing
all
to the
houses
south of it.
Yep,
Well, Williams Park. And the dump station.
Dump station.
okay.
Yeah,
The
but
dump station is
it's
there.
not that big, and other people live near
We can
it.
have a buffer.
Yeah, those condos are
right down there, too.
Yeah,
right,
right there, yeah.
And
So
I've
you're
been.
talking
So
about
do
the
you-
strip along Belaine or the one
No.
behind Woody's?
One behind Woody's, the
Yeah.
public, it goes all the way,
The
no,
old
it
building.
goes to the dump station.
Right, and the ball field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, what do we wanna make it?
I'd like to see downtown, you know, the residential
I don't want to see
stuff.
apartments in it. I want to see like condos or singles, like
So-
R2.
R2.
R2?
Mhm.
Okay,
I think those would be good.
Because I don't want someone just to build a giant apartment across the whole thing.
You just need, you
so
need more of
then
that
all
down
we're
there,
gonna
because
do
people live in
is
town, they don't
add,
necessarily want
how
land,
about
they
add
want-
to
Yeah,
the
close to
recommendation,
it.
rezone to R2?
Yes.
Yeah,
If the state shop completely moves out of town pursuant acquiring the property under the municipal entitlement, rezone to R2. That's what
Correct.
we're adding to that. General policy recommendations is all we have left. Did anybody read them, and do you have any recommendations?
On 84.
I think you mentioned a few along the way.
84. Yeah, well, we were gonna, mention that, lease, lease terms should be for the shortest term possible to amortize development financing and allow for windows of opportunity to make change consistent with then current policy. It's in there.
I would recommend here is, because we were talking about it earlier, first sale reverter, because it says remove
Right.
reverter clauses, and we wanted reverter clauses. So I
Yeah,
think
where, what one number was that?
That's A.
A, remove reverter clause from all city property for maximum flexibility in the use of public lands. Why would that,
I don't know what
Make that.
Yeah. Yes.
reverter clauses from all city property for maximum flexibility.
To me,
in
that
the
sounds,
use
that's
of
actually
lands.
contradictory.
Yeah,
Sounds like a liberal idea.
let's just take it out.
Easy.
That's, we have that right, that's our recommendation, take A out.
Yeah, I think that's,
Require dedication of land during subdivision replatting to wide and substandard right-of-ways. That's safety. These terms should be for the short, we just read that. Replat city property to vacate lot lines and consolidate lots, yeah. Continue to require leases to replat parcels into legal subdivisions. Maximize long-term revenues with city lands.
Yes.
Where possible, when leases expire and it's mutually determined to continue the lease, issue new agreement documents updated current standards. Yes, develop a land bank account to use for the sale and purchase of city lands. Yes, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Develop a conservation overlay district to protect critical natural lands. Yes.
Can we develop I don't know if this is the right spot to do this, but can we develop a bank of money from sales to develop our community center, our recreational
Yes.
center?
I agree.
Yeah,
Because
put that in.
if we're going to
Develop
sell off,
bank.
inevitably we're going to sell off some land for commercial use.
But I don't want to wait until we sell it to get that. Is that
That's
going to make it?
fine,
Okay. Develop a bank
It would, we're selling off land
from
that
land
technically,
sales.
I don't want to say belongs to the people, but it kind of
For it-
is, and
Yeah.
we make money for them
Use.
off of it. And if we're gonna sell that,
In.
so we're not making long-term money, we should turn it into a long-term positive benefit for everybody.
they can earmark
Developing.
money from sales.
Yeah.
Okay.
Developing long-term positive use for our community.
That letter F could be taken a couple different ways.
Maximize long-term revenues from city lands.
Yeah, that could be, don't lease anything more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Or it could mean sell the land and get sales tax and other revenues off it.
I guess we have to identify specific funding sources, I guess, that would be committed to that, because once they collect the money, you never know where it goes to.
Yeah. I don't know if we can narrow that down though, because we just
Well, we
wanna
just
do
narrowed
our
it down to a
best.
bank.
Yeah,
We have a land bank, and then develop a land bank account to use for sale and purchase of city lands. Develop a bank from land sales for use in developing long-term positive use for our community. Long-term positive uses for our community.
and then under the plan implementation, we had a couple items in here that we thought were higher priorities than the others.
Okay, where you wanna move them up to a,
If you put them in this plan implementation section, I don't remember which ones they were, but I know we had a few that we thought were more priority.
Yeah.
that's our key.
I'd like to see priority across the bay for that development, rezoning and development on the hillside for homes, as well as the zoning below it to support the homes with infrastructure.
That, yeah, the city shop move,
City shop moved, yep.
I think also the sports complex, or not complex, but the
Yeah.
basketball, ice skating rink thing.
yeah, that was
Yep.
the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That was
I think
one.
that was, and that's a
So,
little more doable.
priorities,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put priorities. City shop moved,
B-ball court
um,
and the Third Avenue Park.
Yes,
Clean that
I
up.
forgot about that one.
okay, wait, so,
The basketball court,
B-ball,
ice skating rink,
ice rink,
the top lot on Third Avenue.
right,
Mm-hmm,
and
because it's sad looking.
revitalize,
Yeah, the top lot.
It is really sad, it could be pretty much.
People still, kids are still
Third.
playing.
I know,
It's
that's
not
why,
that
that's why
bad.
we
It's
should,
used.
that's why we should, spruce it up,
Expanded.
because everybody uses it. And
so
I
I'm
think-
just gonna put B-ball ice rink built.
Okay.
And then, like I say, so I got 3 priorities, which are underneath the general policy recommendations, which is a new section.
Okay.
So why did we get this marijuana stuff? We're gonna need this after this meeting?
Well, that is, if we got through this,
Yeah?
then the next section we were gonna go to, and we weren't gonna limit ourselves if we sped through anything, is that we're gonna keep moving so that the council knows that we are always moving forward,
Amen.
okay?
So this is for next week?
This is for our next work session. We'll be the uses in light and heavy manufacturing. We may get a draft back of this, or,
Okay.
it might be coming, it could come to us at a meeting as
The
well,
next meeting is the 15th,
for discussion.
12th, or what?
The next meeting.
And
Courtney?
yeah, it will be on the 15th work session, but there is one matter that we probably will need to have a special meeting for.
So we're gonna have the
Yeah.
next work session on light and heavy manufacturing. And if Jackie gets back and gets us a draft of the municipal land use plan as we have directed revisions, we will discuss that either at the work session or.
It'd be nice to discuss
at-
it at the work session.
Yeah, at the work session, and then the next meeting, it could come back
Yes.
as a item for a vote
And we can see it and in the format
in the,
that
yeah,
will be,
yep,
so we have time to look over that
okay.
and make sure it's everything how we want it.
Yep.
All right, thanks, guys. We did a lot.
Yeah.
That should be June 15th.
June
That's the
15th.
next meeting.
And work session will start at 5
5? 5?
and meeting at 7?
Yeah.
Can we
I'm
start
fine
at
with that.
5?
I can start at 5.
Start at
Yeah,
5?
I-
5.
You're,
That's kind of
that'd be
close, but you
pushing
can-
it.
You can start at
Do you
5.
want
You're
to,
always
I
late
could go
anyway.
5:30 if you need it, but
I'll do that.
Vanessa, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that
5?
works. Sorry.
We have a quorum.
So
We have a
that's
quorum.
Vanessa.
That's
I'm Vanessa.
I haven't met Vanessa.
Hi.
Yes,
Hi, I'm
you
Gary.
have.
oh, she's been on.
She's
Zoom.
been on.
I've been on
Oh,
Zoom.
on Zoom. You haven't met
This is
her
my
face to
first time in
face.
the-
Oh,
chamber.
Zoom.
Oh, it
Exciting.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, yep.
All
Done
right.
and done.
Got that out of the way.
My daughter's middle name is Vanessa.
It's a delightful name.
Can you turn off the microphone, Courtney? We are adjourned.
This is a laid back meeting.
Yes, that's good.